Man, I be hearing everything. This thing don't never tell me the right number. It be off. Yeah, let me get it going. Some extra stuff. Send these invites out. Send these invites out. He's gonna change his name. That's crazy. Trump. A couple more people to send them invites. That might be. I guess I send it to the new guy. Who else? One more person. I guess I sent it to team. There we go. There you go, boy. What's the deal, Mr. P, man? Just want to see where everybody here is at, man. That's the reason why I came up with this topic, man. It's the reason why I came up with this topic. Just trying to see based off how they answer this and let me know a little something, you know? And let me know a little something. Mm-hmm. I asked this, how yours is. Only thing that scares the elite ones. Exactly. People don't know, man. People don't know, man. A lot of us uniting off of what we really don't. People don't really know what they need to, what we trying to unite off of. That's a problem. They just trying to pick anything. A lot of that stuff they talking about don't even be. It don't make sense. As I got older, a lot of stuff just don't make sense. I'm gonna unite with you because you look like me. What the freak? We be forgetting that your image and your character is two different things. It's because somebody look. I don't know if they ever heard of looks can be deceiving, Or don't judge a book by its cover. Like, we be hearing all these sayings, but people just be funny to me, man. It's crazy, but we'll see how this go today. People handing out their trust. Their trust. Then come at me saying, why are people trustworthy? Saying, why are people trustworthy? Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know how this go. The time I gotta get off, that's when everybody and their mama wanna come up in here. I'll be out to go to sleep by that time. What's the deal, Cadillac? What's the deal, man? Untrustworthy, I mean, the other. Cause I was wondering, I was trying to read it and make it out to what you were saying. I figured you was meaning that. Untrustworthy. Okay, I feel you. To CC. CC. What's that? Double C. What's the deal, Texas? Welcome to the live. Oh, chilling. Right, I'm trying to cool down now. It just hit like back 80 degrees again today. I think that might be the last of the heat this week. 'Cause it's gonna be cooling back down now. It's getting close to fall, or is it fall? It might be fall already. That is fall already. It's about to start cooling down soon. It's about to start cooling down soon. Send you, send you, send you. You get me, brother. I'm trying to see. Oh, same here. Oh, okay. But he hit me with that with the with the text, and I'm like, what the heck is I'm reading? BK, my brother, what's the deal? What up, man? Trying to pick at some brains this week. You know, I got me a few topics lined up, of course. You know what I'm saying? Wouldn't be me if I ain't had nothing. You know, a trigger a day would get the doctor away. You know what I'm saying? Somebody get triggered. I've been on a streak line days. Unintentionally. But hey, things got to get talked about. I just got to see where everybody head is at. Said you cooling, man. That's how, you know what I'm saying? That's how it's supposed to be. How it's supposed to be, man. That's how it's supposed to be. Okay. Two people back. That's weird. Hmm? Hey.
What's the deal?
What is up, my guy? See so.
That's
What the time they be letting people up now? People get to come up.
man, can't call it boy.
Huh?
Oh,
What?
speaking of trigger, they put up the shade trigger and not yeah. Oh no, I was just listening. I was just reading the comments, and then I was reading what you had on your screen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you about to light a fire on this.
All the time.
You about to light a fire, but
All the time.
you know,
I said, who gonna cuss
I
me out
think
today?
we'll probably get some people. Oh really?
I see you got
Get
like
some people
look like you got
chiming
two
in.
bars.
Who me?
Yeah, it look like you had two bars. Look like you good now though.
Oh, oh yeah.
I could tell it was a little delay at
Yeah,
first.
I was reading that, man. I just came out of a live, man, and listened to these people talking about this stuff right here, man. This, I don't think I'm gonna digress for speaking on it.
Let's talk about
Nah,
it.
are we the toughest, the roughest, and the toughest? Mm,
Mm.
nah, I say we the roughest. I don't know about the toughest. I mean, a lot of feelings being hurt. So I don't think nobody the toughest. I think they the rough. I just think they rough around the edges. Team
Mm-hmm.
segregation or team unite and why? Ah, boy, that's a tough one. Segregation. I say 50-50 on team segregation and team unite.
Mm-hmm.
Reason being, by just being on the live, different lives listening, we can't even come to an agreement about certain things, and I'm gonna say some and not all can unite, and some of the ones that are uniting need to segregate from the ones that can't.
Hmm.
That's just my opinion.
Okay. 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 Okay.
What's going on, everybody?
Yo, what's the deal?
Oh, what on,
Get
bro?
a slice.
Yo,
He
yeah,
he,
bro.
he done changed his profile in his game.
I'm gonna tell you why I'm for unity, man. I feel like most people should feel this way, but
It
man,
should.
that's the reason why this country's really strive, man. If you look at it, I mean, I live in New York City now, and we probably like, besides like California and a couple other states, like we're probably one of the most diverse, and you could see, man, people live. I'm not gonna say better per se in New York, but people are a little bit happier, man, because not just based off of like the culture and the food, but you got options. And who doesn't like options, bro? Especially when it comes to, different race, ethnicity. Everybody could learn something from somebody, bro. And that's why I personally like New York City the best, as far as where I lived before, just based on I could go down the street if I want Chinese food. I could go up the street. I could get Italian food. So there's a lot of different things, especially even you go out clubbing, man. Like you really, I have the best time, bro, when everybody's like in unity. When nobody really gives a shit about this race, and you just kind of just living to live. I don't know how to really explain it, but the reason I would just say, bro, it's better to be unity is, you got so many different aspects of life, and I've learned a shit ton from different people, different cultures. And when you guys really come together, you realize, man, everybody's a human being. Everybody's got different opinions on things, and like I said, man, you could really learn a lot. Better yet, you could have a better time.
Facts. Facts.
Oh,
So I'm gonna do. Yeah, I'm gonna do the first question for everybody. Yeah, so I
I
can
I
just.
I I, I do.
Hmm. What'd you say, BK?
Are you going just off the first question, right?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was agreeing. I was agreeing with what he was saying.
No, your junk
On
is lagging. I can
some
tell.
part of that.
I can
You know what I
see. I can
mean?
tell it's lagging.
I do. I agree with. Yo, yeah,
Oh my.
yeah.
Yeah, he get my message
Okay,
like a whole hour
but yeah,
later.
I do. I agree with partial what he was saying. You know what I mean? Yeah, I do agree with what he was saying on some part. You know what I mean? I can't say from what part of New York that I've been in. I don't see that togetherness. I don't
Hmm.
see it. But I mean, someone that lives there all the time, you know what I mean, can rebuttal that. But from somebody that just been there, you know what I mean, I didn't see the unity. I didn't see the togetherness because I still saw, you know, as me being, black guy, you know what I mean? I still couldn't walk in certain parts because they didn't know. So,
Hmm.
that's why I say I kind of agree with what partially what he said. The food is now I say the food. Now I agree with the food. I don't know about the nightlife. You know what I'm saying? I
Yeah.
do agree with him on that. You know what I mean? But by me having family living in Brooklyn, I don't, and like I say again, I don't see the unity. I see that, you can't even really, for me being from the country, I walk in New York, they look at me like I'm crazy. I'm same color as you are. You know what I mean? Because I'm
Hmm.
not from there. They don't, you know what I'm saying? They're not going to welcome me with open arms. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So,
Hmm.
so, but
I
if you
I
come to the
put
South,
yeah.
they gonna welcome you with open arms. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I say I agree with some what you're saying. The food I do agree with. The versatile culture I do agree with that wholeheartedly, 100%. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? But, you know, that's just
I'll
my
put it
take.
this way. I was on a rooftop bar, actually in Brooklyn, Bensonhurst. And man, it was the funniest thing in the world, man. Me and my girl, we went up to the rooftop bar. First, they were playing like this techno kind of daft punk, whatever kind of music, which is not like what I favor. But the funniest thing I saw, man, there was this white girl. I don't know what she was doing, bro. Everybody was looking at her like she was crazy because she was doing the most. I don't even know if you call it dancing, but she was just doing the most wild shit. But she was having the time of her life. There was a black dude that was by himself, an older dude. He had to be like in his 60s, and man, he was just. It didn't matter what song came on, Spanish, white, black music, anything, man. This dude, they both just started jumping in, and they were like the life of the party, bro. Everybody was like cheering these two on. They never knew each other. One girl was probably in her 20s, like I said, he's in his 60s, and there was just some life in that. You know what I mean? They were both dancing like awkwardly as hell, but they were having a good time. They didn't even know each other. And they kind of made this whole circle around them based off of this kind of awkward dancing that they were having going on. And I think that to me just sparked something like kind of like, these people never even knew each other, didn't care about the race, didn't care about anything else going on besides having a good time. And it really like translated into the whole group of people just starting to have even a better time when they saw that. At first it was kind of comical, but then once you kind of saw them dancing and having fun with each other, like you could tell it really made that dude's night because he was in his 60s, she was in her 20s. And then it kind of made her night because nobody was fucking with her. I mean, the way she was dancing, like, I don't know how to explain it. She kind of looked like octopus out there, the way she was dancing. But I don't know, man. I just wanted to state that. I think that was kind of funny to me, but it really translated into the whole crowd.
I'm not sure if I fully understand the team segregation or team unity, but I would say I'd be on team unity because just in my life I've been exposed to, like, I'm thinking of my friend David Simpson. He's from Texas, and big African American guy, awesome guy. My friend, his name is Antonio, but he goes by Mission, and he's from Mississippi. Great hip hop artist, and just different types of people, and just from different cultures help me to see like how they respect each other, and like how they would treat each other as family, even if they weren't really literally blood related. And I just thought that was so cool because like sometimes when I would look at people in my own family, they were not really. They were like, get your, not to me specifically, but they would say to one another, like, more like kind of get yourself together rather than being as supportive. And so I kind of feel like just being exposed to that piece helped me to see like just another color of the palette, and just another shade to like kind of understand the whole picture, I guess.
Yeah. And not to go off topic, man, but I've seen this a lot too with the whole like segregated part. I think the big thing people kind of misconstrued all the time is like where you feel the most comfortable. And I hate to kind of to say this, but it kind of is the truth. Of course, white people feel more comfortable around their own people. I feel like predominantly same with black people. Even if you're Spanish and you speak the same language, you're going to probably lean towards maybe that group of people. And the same thing, like we mentioned, like even Italian people, you speak the same language. It's just kind of who you feel more comfortable around. And I feel like that's not even a part of the segregation. It's just a part of since day one, since this country, was born. Like people are going to feel more comfortable where they're at. And then that's why there's that whole stigma. Like you probably seen in movies, like a black guy walks into a predominantly white bar and then all the heads turn and look at him. And then vice versa, a white dude comes in and it's a predominantly black bar and all the heads kind of turn. But I think that thing always kind of gets construed too, man. I think a lot of people are, of course, going to be more comfortable around their own ethnicity. And I think that's just, it's kind of like how we're wired in a way. I don't know if y'all agree with that or see.
Okay.
Well,
I look at it. I'm sorry, BK. Go ahead.
no, go ahead, Mister. You good?
Um, I look at the word, I guess, differently. To me, segregation is like going out of your way and saying you're not allowed here. And to me, that's just really like off-putting, whatever your reason or justification is for it. You know, if we're all just talking about generally in public, it's like I don't really know where someone has the right to tell someone they don't belong there. That's like segregation how I see it. What I see people most commonly talking about is freedom of association, meaning I can go where I want to go. I'm free to associate with who I want. And I think that's kind of the hair that we need to split. There's a difference between saying I'm going to associate with the people I want versus saying to other people, you're not welcome here. So I think that's kind of a line that gets walked all over, and people are just using the word segregation in there. But I mean, I lean towards team unity. I was the first comment up in here. I grew up in East LA, man. I saw all kinds of walks of people, and we were all commingling, living together, doing our thing, trying to survive. And I'm just of the belief that there is a microcosm of people who are in charge of deciding the things that we argue about down here at the bottom. And as long as they can keep our eyes and our anger and our emotions aimed at each other, we're doing the work for them to keep us down. The
Wow.
second we start unifying and working together towards common goals, whatever those goals may be, you know, that's when we start causing problems for the people at the tippy top, because it starts taking away their control over our emotions. So, um, you know, that's just kind of my take on it. You know, I think that we shouldn't just judge someone based on the image we see in public. You know, someone, I can't remember who was saying it, but they're saying, you know, they feel better around their own kind. I feel better around the people I know. It doesn't matter. Like, kind don't matter. I know plenty of people who look like me who are pieces of shit that I don't want to be in the same room. I feel better around people I know. Like, I've been talking with Kev long enough. Like, if I were to hang out with Kev, I would feel comfortable as hell hanging out around Kev because I feel like I know him. Other people, if I don't know them, I'm typically a little standoffish. I don't go out of my way trying to make friends because most people be fake anyways, like press on nails. So I ain't trying to waste my time.
So I'm gonna do a quick break real quick so we can get juicy tonight. Y'all can hit them likes for me, try to get me to 5K, and share to like 10 people real quick. Yeah. Even though Nazi already did it already, but whoever else ain't, share like the 10 people, 10, 5 people. I'm trying to see what the deal is. And I feel like it was something I was about to say. I forgot. But well, who else? Did everybody go for the first one? I
Yep.
think everybody went. So I'm gonna start with you, and then we're gonna go down with the second one. Would you recommend looking at differences more or similarities more?
Man, it's a tricky question, right? Because like the whole differences, when we talked about different cultures, like there's a big plus in that. Like being diverse, there's a huge plus in that. But then there's also a big plus in the similarities because, like, even Mister was saying, you know, people he knows, you know, you gotta, for you to be friends with somebody, I would think that you kind of share the same values and principles as some people. And if somebody doesn't really match up with that, you're gonna run into issues all the time, you know, with their whole morals and aspects of living. Obviously, you got if you're a religious person, somebody else is not really religious, then that's going to conflict with your probably day to day life, or versus somebody, you know, wanting to do bad versus do good. You know, you're always going to deal with that damn angel and demon kind of on your shoulder. So I don't know, bro. I think I would recommend both, to be honest with you.
Hmm. Go ahead, Mr. P.
Did you ask me something?
Yeah, you next. Would you recommend looking at differences more or similarities more?
I mean, I guess in which context am I trying to look at someone? Is it just like an average everyday encounter?
I think for like um, and it's kind of based off of look if you're looking for unity or if you're looking for segregation.
If I'm looking for unity, I mean, I'm kind of open, so it's like I can I can be criticized and pushed on my ideas and not automatically feel offended, but not everybody has that same ability. So I mean, you got to kind of read the person you're dealing with, you know. So it's like some people don't have it in them or don't want to talk about things that could make waves. So differences might be a hard conversation, and they might be the kind of person where they need to just highlight how they fit in and the things that they have in common. But I kind of look at everything that's given to me by somebody. You know, I try not to just base it off of a one thing. I mean, if my intuition or something like that is kicking into overdrive and I'm seeing, you know, markers that are common to other situations where I know they're going to lead, maybe I'll follow that as well. It really depends on the road that's in front of me and who I'm looking at, you know. I try to give people the benefit of the doubt. I try my best to give people grace, and sometimes people throw it right back at me really quickly. You know what I mean? And then I'm forced to make a decision in a moment on how I see them. So that's a tough one, man. I've got to give it some thought before I can really come down on either side. I mean, it's hard to generalize something like that because it's like, for instance, like dealing with you, talking with you on these lives. Yeah, I'd say 75, 80% of the time, you and I are on the same thought, same brainwave. And I value that, but I also value the times when we're not, and we have differences in opinion and difference in thought. And I actually kind of value those more because those are opportunities for me to learn. So,
Facts.
I mean, that's a hard question. You really hit me with
Yeah,
a
I'm gonna
right up the
explain
middle.
when I do my turn. I'm gonna explain the whole thing. Then I'm gonna let y'all go off after my whole thing. So that's why I'm just gonna let everybody go see what they
Oh,
got
and
out of
really
it.
quick, it was about the Touche triggered video.
Oh no, I didn't, I never posted it because I had listened to it and I told Touche that I probably was wrong about that. I said because after he told me about it and then I started listening to it, I told him I was only listening to it with a bias, so I was waiting for him to mess up. So I guess I took it as like if he would have responded, that was him. That was him considered triggered. So I realized that he was, when I was listening to his tone and all that stuff, he was just really trying to. He was playing the same game he was playing. He just wanted to play petty like he was. So he wasn't triggered though. As I
Okay,
kept listening
so
to it, I said, I ain't gonna even post it. So
so
I said, I
Touche
lost.
gets the nod. Then he was good.
Yeah, he was good. He was
All
good.
right, cool. Because I sided with Touche because I've heard him a few times. I wanted to give him the benefit of the doubt, so I've been
Yeah.
waiting for that video to drop so I can stitch it and be like, Touche, what the hell? You lost your cool, man.
Dog, I was listening with a bias. I had admitted it with it because I just wanted him to lose though, because he had talking about I ain't gonna get triggered, so I was waiting for anything. But I was like, nah. I said I listened to it, and I was gonna be real. Like, yeah, he didn't. He just was playing the same game because you didn't hear his voice get higher or nothing. He just kept trying to. It seemed like he was trying to switch the role up and try to trigger him. So he was just playing the same game he was playing. That's all it was. Yeah. So I admitted to him. I know he like when I'm wrong and stuff. And that's what Touche love.
All right, well, I didn't mean to change the convo, but
But
I was
yeah,
just curious.
but yeah. CT man. Would you recommend looking at differences more or similarities more?
I think that the similarities, the common ground that we can find with people, it helps us.
Facts.
It's like, hey, do you know so and so? Oh yeah, I know so and so. Oh yeah. Boom, we immediately have a bond, right? So there's something that's special there, I think, that you can't avoid. But again, the differences of point of view, the differences of where people come from. Why do we
Yeah.
watch movies? Let's just have a spoiler alert. We are the people on the screen. Like, why are we staring at the facial expressions of this person from this part of the Bronx? I've never been to the Bronx, but I can actually have that
Classic
point of
man. What's
view,
the
and I can
deal?
understand. What's that?
My bad. I was just talking. I seen one of my brothers in here. You
Yeah.
go ahead.
So
My bad.
anyway, we can when we can understand someone else's point of view, and I mean, and really try to try to grasp that. I think our world opens up just a bit more. The way we see everything it opens up just a tiny bit more. And that
Okay.
would say,
I think glitched a little bit. That was weird.
Yeah, it was glitchy.
You heard that?
But
And then
yeah,
I don't know.
yeah,
I wasn't the only one that heard
yeah.
that.
But I'm agree with what Church just said. You know what I mean? We do have to look at both because we can learn something from both. If we all agreeing on something, how we're not learning. We already in agreements on the same thing, but we can learn from the difference because everybody has their own opinion about certain things, and we can both learn from each other. That's if we're open, try to be open minded towards it. Some gonna be open minded, some not, but we can still learn to. We still learn to. We trying to listen to understand.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Each other. So if we're all open minded, we can learn. So I do agree with what Church was just saying.
Hmm.
There you have
Okay.
it.
Okay. So we got two people that got to catch up now. Um, I think Dante came in first. Yeah, Dante. So we gonna so the topic is: are we the roughest and the toughest? How you feel about that, anyways, Dante?
I don't even know the basis of the question. I'm trying to understand the first question.
You talking about which the topic or just the question?
Oh, the topic. I mean, I understand the first question. I have a
Okay.
response to the
The
first
topic
question.
is just okay. I would say it's based off because I always hear people saying or they feel like them or we are the toughest sometimes or or have it the roughest sometimes or it can be or the group of people they with. You know what I'm saying? People be feeling like their family is the toughest or feel like or they going through the roughest stuff like that.
I mean, I don't know. I grew up in an era where they said there's somewhere somebody bigger and stronger. So, I mean, I don't
Hmm.
claim to be the roughest and the toughest because I grew up in an era where if I'm bad, somebody out there is badder. So,
Okay, we getting somewhere.
Yeah,
All
I
right,
agree with
so
that.
all right, so I got to get you on the other two though. Even though I didn't ask, I don't think I asked them that regular way because I ain't. I guess I ain't. My bad, y'all. But I think
Yeah,
BK was the
you
one he
good.
answered it a little bit too though. So I forgot to do
Yeah.
that. So team segregation or team unity and why?
I would have to say team segregation.
Okay, and why?
I mean, historically speaking, I mean, okay, I know I'm going down a bad road here, so just bear with me. But
Your opinion, brother.
historically speaking, African Americans in its entirety, the group, and Africans and people of color, they have all been to some degree inclusive. They have welcomed a foreign nation or foreign people into their lands, offered them bread, offered them knowledge, offered them camaraderie, only to be spat in the face and attacked and subjugated. Now, based on history, inclusivity is not working because there's no such thing. It's conquer or be conquered by the majority group. And in that case, I think the key phrase that comes to mind at this stage of our development is absence makes the heart grow fonder. You know, you don't know what you've lost until you've lost it. So maybe segregation is the best way to go in order for people to start appreciating what we have.
Hmm. Okay, and for the second one, because I'm gonna get everybody a chance to get on everybody. But and for the second one, would you recommend looking at differences more or similarities more?
Because, I mean, we want to look
Say,
at
hey, say it over again.
similarities
Your
in
jump
order
cut
to
out.
find a
It
way to
had cut off. You got
connect
one
to.
bar.
I said, that's a tough one.
Okay. What's going
Yeah,
on?
man, it's
We in
messing up.
another time zone, bro.
Similarities.
What?
Yeah,
That
got
one
one
bar
bar.
going crazy.
Am I breaking up?
Yeah, that one bar.
Yeah,
Yeah, I ain't
Am I
hearing
breaking up?
nothing. Yeah, it's
We good
literally a
now.
super breakup.
Oh, damn. I'm sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, is we on time?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
You know what? I'm gonna walk back to. Give me a minute to answer the last question.
Okay,
You can go on
for
to the
sure.
next person because I'm gonna walk back to my house and get back in front of my router like last time.
All right, for sure, for sure. All right, DJ Claude, what's the deal, my brother?
Going on?
What's the deal, man? So the topic is: Are we the roughest and the toughest? How you feel about that?
Are we the roughest and the toughest?
Yeah.
Ah, man. No, definitely not the toughest.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely not the roughest either.
Dang. I was hoping somebody was. I was waiting to get my turn so I could say that. But okay, for sure, for sure. Okay, you answered that. I guess we can get to the why later because I'm. But team segregation or team unity and why?
Segregation mean like to be part of something, or are we talking about just to be as a collective?
I
Segregation.
guess in
A
just in
part.
general, you think which one would be better and just overall, like worldwide
I mean,
for
unity.
everybody?
It's always good to have unity, but also I feel we have to have a something we're striving for. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
And it's,
Okay.
it depends what you're striving for and what the outcome look like. So
Mm-hmm.
the people that are going to create the outcome you want could look different from you to have the outcome that you want. Like, cause I come from a business background, so I'm always in business. So the
Jane, what's
people that I
up?
work with, it's different, different races and different stuff like that. So it depends on the goal that we're trying to get to
Mm-hmm.
and the values that the
Can
goal
you
and the
hear me
values
now?
that people
Oh,
wanna
you good? Verizon is in the building.
do.
Go ahead, DJ.
Yeah, so I was saying like as far as I'm definitely for unity, but at the same time depends on the goal. And so the same goal, same values, same principles, then we can go and take over what we got to take over.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what you got, Mr. P?
You.
I just wanted to ask DJ Claw because I don't know if he was in here when I was on that question, but uh, it seems like he's for unity with freedom of association versus actual segregation because it's like he doesn't seem like he wants to force people to not go somewhere versus just making decisions on what kind of things we should share. Is that kind of like what you were saying? I just want to understand what you were getting at, DJ.
I'm just saying the same values and principles because I mean I'm not gonna go down to, I'm not gonna join anybody thing if you don't have if you're not aligned in the same values. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
I'm not gonna just gonna
Oh, I think I get what you're saying.
I'm not blindly following nobody.
Yeah, I get you just saying like like we gotta separate with certain. I get you to a certain extent. I ain't think about that.
So yeah, I don't say we have to separate, but me personally not gonna follow blindly to certain. You know what I'm saying? Some ideals and because perfect example. This might sound crazy. I am not a BLM. I'm not a Black Lives Matter kind of person. You know what I'm saying?
I feel you. I feel you. I
what, they,
feel you.
what they stand for. You dig what I'm saying? So just example of that scenario.
I feel you. Yeah, I don't put no title on my situation. I fight for who I fight for. But
Right.
I fight for humans. But and the second one, would you recommend looking for differences more or similarities more?
It's different. It depends because I like opposite. Depends what we're trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
Similarities in values, of course. Differences in expertise.
Mhm.
So if somebody do something different than I do, I like to be in that dynamic where we can learn more versus we all got the same thing. Then how am I supposed to learn that way?
Good luck, Xander. Mm-hmm. All right, so okay, you caught up. So everybody
Can
caught on the same thing. Oh
can
yeah, let me.
can
Oh,
I
my
say
man's
something?
Dante got to finish up. Would you would you recommend looking for? He's still doing that BS out of all the stuff. Like, good look, Xander. Oh, would you recommend looking for differences more or similarities more? See if that Wi-Fi is straight.
No, I think it might be straight now. I think I can hold the conversation without
Hmm.
jumping in and out.
Dog, it was
But
bad. You one time it got quiet for a good 2 minutes. We all just looking at the screen, and then it came back after.
honestly speaking, when I jump on a live, especially like yours, I tend to be like doing my little bit of walking in the neighborhood, and I got away from my Wi-Fi, so I had to run back to my house and get back on the Wi-Fi. But
Hmm.
differences versus similarities. Again, that's a tough question to answer because everybody's looking for someone who they can relate to, and relating to them means that they have some similarities that you can appreciate, you can understand, you can roll with. But sometimes it's harder to build with someone that it echoes exactly what you are, as opposed to
Hmm.
someone with differences, because you need like a sounding board. You need someone who's going to give you that negative pushback in order to grow a little bit. That's a difficult question to answer.
Thanks. I get you. Okay, we get it somewhere. We get it somewhere. All right,
That's about
Just,
Jane.
just hold on, Kev. What you said is good, but it doesn't have to be negative. It just be the opposite of what
it.
you.
Yeah,
Mm.
So yeah,
yeah, because we can all learn from each other.
yeah.
Oh
So
yeah,
it doesn't,
most
You
definitely.
mean you got
doesn't have to be
somebody with the
negative.
same mindset, you won't progress as fast as with someone that has the differences. Somebody has
Mm-hmm.
your differences, and you be like, oh no, I ain't look at it like that. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? They may come with some positive, but majority of the time you already know they're gonna come with some negative. But Jane, go ahead and answer. Jane, my bad. I didn't mean to cut you off. Hey, by the way, I spoke to you in the live the other day.
Mm.
I didn't even know that because I don't look at the comment section too much when I go in lives like that because it distracts me. I don't know what the condition is yet because I ain't trying to be conditioned. But
Yeah, 'cause you was a pretty girl sitting in that live. I'll go ahead and tell you.
oh, thank you, thank you.
Am I pandering? My bad. No, I'm still.
No, you're giving
Oh,
me a
you're flirting.
compliment. That's not pandering. You're giving me a compliment.
Not
And
the
I love it.
pander.
Thank you. We're on the second question.
So I'm gonna read them off for you. So the topic itself: Are we the roughest and the toughest? How you feel about that?
As far as country wise, or as far
Uh,
as
as in, I'm gonna give another example because I did kind of. I had to make it quick because I didn't want to take the whole page up. So, basically, like, let's be people that think that they're the toughest and the roughest, or been through the roughest, right? And then we got
Yeah,
they think
yeah.
their family or their people that they hang with is the roughest and the toughest. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. How you feel about
oh,
that?
it's always somebody that's gonna be tougher. I mean, nobody's gonna be
Mm-hmm.
toughest, in my opinion. I mean, to me, there's no such thing. My grandma always told me it's always somebody else that can whip that ass, even though I ain't met them yet.
Now, ain't that what what's the name just said?
Let's test it, Jay. You old classic man. Tell everybody on here. I paid my debt. I'm good. I'm
Um,
good.
that's just a hard one as far as the roughest and the toughest. I don't think nobody or anything is the roughest or the toughest.
Okay. Okay. Yes. Okay. I feel it. I feel it. So, number two, team segregation or team unity, and why?
I feel like I really don't look at it on race. I look at it as far as people with like minds should definitely continue to integrate, and people that don't have that same mindset or they feel like they need to segregate based on race, I feel like they should be segregated and ostracized from society.
Okay. 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 And number two, we caught up. I mean, number three, we caught up, or number two, whatever. I mixed it all up. Oh, would you recommend looking at differences more or similarities more?
Some of
Are
both.
you?
Because if you have a friend or a group that have more of a similarity, then you can end up being bored and not growing and not learning from those individuals. It's almost like dealing with a glass ceiling. But if you have someone that is completely different or have a group of people that are different, you could face the idea of being mirrored, which is also dangerous.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So I like a little
Okay.
bit of both. I love a weird person though. I love weird people. I'm weird, so I like those that just
Uh,
they're weird.
That
After
sounds
Mister, can I
weird.
say something real quick?
Who said that?
After Mister, can I say something real quick?
Go
Because he
ahead.
had
Go
his
ahead.
hand up.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just curious, how are we defining
Yeah, I was about to get to that because
toughness?
I see I
Because
had thought
like
about it while.
it
So,
just reminded me of like my son asked me the other day, what metal is the toughest? And
so I
I
think.
told him, well, it depends on what you need the toughness for. I said,
Yeah.
if you want metal you can smack against other metal, you want brass because it can take a beating. Said if
Hmm.
you want something that can handle the weight of something heavy, you probably want steel or titanium. So it depends on what you mean by toughest. So I was just
Yeah.
curious, when you wrote the question, what were you thinking?
I'm gonna get to it. That's why I wanted to do my turn. Actually, I guess everybody answered that already. So I guess after I get finished, because it's going to end up tying into that last question actually, and I'm gonna say I'm gonna answer all four of myself for the end. I mean, not for the end. Well, right after y'all answer the fourth one. I feel like did everybody go already? I think they did. Yeah, everybody went. Yeah, we
I
good.
think BK
So,
had something to say after me.
oh yeah, I think that was Dante that, or I don't
That
know,
was
somebody
me.
did.
That's me. I
Okay,
was
go ahead
just
though.
curious about something. Uh, are we under the implications that segregation means separation? Because you can segregate without separating. You know, you can segregate groups or individual groups without having to be still be in the same space, but be segregated from the groups, right? I mean, there was segregation, but black people were still allowed to be in the same environment. They just weren't allowed to be in the same area. You know, front of the bus, back of the bus, outside the restaurant, inside the restaurant. That's segregation without separation. I'm just trying to understand the established premise behind it. Are we talking about separation and segregation, or are we talking about just segregating?
So I think I mean it more of a
Same thing.
separation thing.
That's the same thing. I mean, it's the same thing.
It's the only way you can look at it. Segregation.
That's what I thought. That's what.
That's the only way you can look at it.
You can't be over here, you know what I'm saying? You gotta be over there.
Or
Yeah.
even just I noticed it's actually like intentional separations too. People like really prefer to be separated. What it is. It's, for whatever reasons, that's why I was trying to listen out and hear what everybody's saying and their reasons behind it. Um
Yeah.
I guess that was everybody. Um
Yeah.
and then for this last one, I guess somebody heard me do that so I can get to it. Then I know y'all gonna want to say something after I do all mine. So
Yeah.
I guess we can start with Jane first. Yep. Ladies first. Um, is being competitive more helpful or harmful nowadays?
It's helpful when you're competing with yourself. It's harmful when you're competing with others.
So overall, who you think people competing with though?
With other people, so it's much more harmful nowadays.
There, yeah, good one. I like that. I like that. Like, dang, I think she said too much. I feel like everybody about to say it. Go ahead, uh, DJ. Yeah.
Is being competitive is more helpful or harmful nowadays? I mean, it's always good being in competition because it's always you see your best self whenever you compete.
Mm-hmm.
It depends what you're competing for. You know what I'm saying? So I think like I said, in business I compete against my competition in my service industry. And it's not like I'm competing with them. It's just because it's the nature of the business. You gotta compete to get market share.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't compete against my friends. I rather collaborate with my friends. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I compete with myself last year in metrics. So it's always good to compete because it's something you're competing against to better yourself.
So overall, you think is helpful
Oh, it's definitely helpful.
overall for the whole world. I mean, especially in the United States.
Yeah, because I
Okay,
mean,
cool. Okay.
because if you compete, it's better. Competition creates, you get better results with competition. Of course, it can go left, of course, but competition always gives better results.
It's not Jane not paying my money. That's funny. All right, I got you. So, Dante, is being competitive more helpful or harmful nowadays?
Another loaded question, if you ask me. You got a lot of loaded ones coming out
Yes,
here.
sir. I just want to see where everybody head is at.
See, because there's a such thing as healthy competition, and that's competition between two groups aspiring to improve a product or a thing. Like, I mean, that's healthy competition where it isn't poisonous to the individual. But we exist in a world where competition is negative. It always
Mm,
turns into a negative.
we getting okay.
And honestly, the only positive competition, like the young lady said, is when you set the bar for yourself and improve on that bar. The
Facts.
only person you really should be competing with. Like, listen, most athletes don't compete against other athletes. They compete against their personal best. Yes, you're on the field running against your opponent, who is probably as good as you, but you want to do your personal best so that you can continue to improve on your personal best. That's usually the best and most healthy competition there is out there.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Um, and get what I don't see is get a slice.
Yeah, so I would say, man, competitiveness is the only way, bro. And the only reason I would state this is like when the gentleman before was saying they compete against themselves, like let's even say like a wide receiver, they're still competing against the best in the world because they want to take that number one spot with like the most yardage. So same thing with even if you look at any person that becomes complacent, they start to feed like laziness, in my opinion. And then when you start becoming complacent, you become a little bit lazy in it could be even in your profession. And then you got somebody that is younger, stronger, better. You know, it ties into the toughest and roughest. I know you said that before, but
Mm-hmm.
to make it quick, like that's why you got things like the Olympics. That's why you got things like these sports that we watch every day, because if there was no competitiveness, there would be no need for any of these sports. You know, there would be if look at a simple movie like Rocky, bro. You can kind of see when these people kind of are coming up, they don't have money, they're trying to supply for their family. There's a different type of fight, different type of dog in them versus somebody that ends up getting a lot of money and then they again become complacent, you become lazy, and then what starts to happen is your drive starts to go down. So I don't think being competitive against yourself, I think that would be the worst way. I think people being competitive towards you gives you a reason to kind of to one up yourself. So
Mm-hmm.
like we said, Olympics, boxing, sports, football, all that, man, like you got to be competitive. If you're not, somebody's willing to take your spot that has way more to lose, or way less to lose than you. So very important.
Okay.
It's the only way.
All right, Mr. P, you next. Is being competitive more helpful or harmful nowadays?
Oh, I think it's helpful, man. I think we got a lot of people that don't know how to compete, and so they want everything given because we have a whole generation that grew up being told, well, you showed up on the field, you didn't do anything, but here's your trophy. And I just think that we're seeing the byproduct of a society where we've taught people that your existence alone is what grants you the ability to have whatever you want, when really there's whole countries of other people who are growing up with a competitive nature to go out and earn what they want. And I just think it's important. That being said, I think it's important to, if you're going to be competitive in your nature, you should always try to beat the person you were the day prior. I think that I'm not speaking for the top people who are succeeding and they have their drive and their ambition. I'm talking for the average person that's looking up at the top saying, why am I not there? I just think you should realign your focus and put your focus on, instead of why can't I beat Elon Musk's earnings every day, say, why can't I beat my earnings from yesterday? What's preventing me from doing that? And then when you go into
Mm-hmm.
the next day, you're looking at what you did and you're saying, all right, how can I beat that? I think that that's an aspect of being competitive that's kind of undervalued. We're always looking at everybody else and trying to figure out, why are they holding me back, instead of saying, what am I going to do to propel myself forward?
regardless of whatever, if anybody else is running in this race or not. How am I going to get to the finish line?
All right. Okay.
Can I say something real quick before you
Hold on,
switch
I'm gonna let
off?
everybody do that right after. I'm gonna do that. Everybody gonna get they things in. I'm just trying to run through these questions real quick. Go ahead, CT. What the freak?
Yeah. So, I can go.
Yeah, is being competitive more helpful or harmful nowadays? Zeus, you gonna go last. I'm gonna have you answer all four of them. You came in late.
Okay, so I think being competitive is more helpful. I think challenging each other, challenging ourselves is, I mean, every story is a character is in a zone of comfort and then something's not quite right. So they're put out of they're thrust out of their comfort zone down a road of trials. They have a want, they have something that they want, but they have something that they need. They have to die and rise from the dead, right? All that. We have to be challenged. We have to be challenged because there's no way to grow. There's no possible way to grow without being challenged. And I think maybe the participation trophy was, what was that? What was that doing? Was it aiming at intrinsic value, like you're about you're a person, you're valuable because just because you are, maybe something like that. But yeah, I think it has gone too far. Yeah.
And BK,
Mm.
is competitiveness more helpful or harmful
The
nowadays?
bar going out.
Hmm?
Well, I have to agree with everybody on the panel. You know what I mean? Because all of them stole my answer and what I was about to say. So I have to agree with
I
what they
think a
were
couple
saying.
people
I
said
mean,
different though.
competitive. Yeah. I mean, but who's wrong, who's right? All of them
Hmm.
correct. You know what I'm saying?
Okay,
I mean,
depending on.
competitiveness can be a good thing, and it's a good thing for adults, but it can be a bad thing for kids. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So it can go either way. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So I do agree with what G.I. Jane was saying earlier about competitiveness. We all need it. We all, that's part of us, who we are as, adults. So I just have to agree with what they say because they don't need me to keep elaborating on it and going on the same thing that they just said. You know what I mean? But I agree with it.
Okay. All right, Zeus. Now I guess catch him on up. He got all four of those. So first off, with the topic, are we the roughest and the toughest? How you feel about the topic? And before you ask the context behind it, so I'm gonna use for example that people that's like some people feel like they the roughest or the toughest sometimes, and they feel like them and their family is the roughest and the toughest, or whoever they encounter with it always be the roughest and the toughest, or
I
the
just want to say
whatever.
before Zeus goes off that with that profile picture, I know he's competing for something. I mean, I don't know if he's trying to get to the top of the Mortal Kombat tower or what, but he's competing for
About to
something.
fight Shao Kahn.
That question makes me say, "Show enough."
I mean, I'm a competitive guy myself. You know what I'm saying? But what I've learned though, especially as I've grown, competitiveness. Okay, yeah.
We ain't even make it on the fourth one. I didn't even get to ask that part yet.
What's that, Doc?
You skipped the question. You
Oh, my
skipped
bad. The
it.
roughest. The roughest. My fault. My
Yeah,
fault.
I was we gonna get to that part though. But if you want to answer that first, we can do that too. If you want to get to the
I mean,
competitive part, if it's
being
what's on
rough.
your mind.
Being rough is what people love. I mean, honestly, like they don't like. I just think overall, just like rough is better. Rather than not being able to go through the mud and keep going. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
That concept. I just feel like being rough is. I would teach my son to be rough. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Rather than not be rough. And
Okay.
yeah. What was the next question, Doc?
Number two, team segregation or team unity, and why?
Oh, team unity for sure. I mean, I feel
Okay.
like if you do team segregation, that's going to continue to push multitude of segregation out there in the community. So if you push team unity, right, it automatically push unity in the community. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
That's just how I feel about it. And that's just coming from me being a coach.
Okay. Okay. Uh, would you recommend looking for differences more or similarities more?
Hmm. That's a good question, man. Because and how my mind is driven, because I'm pre-law. So because I think it's depending on what everybody be doing independently, right? Would pull that a difference of that question, that answer. Because shoot, honestly, like I would look for some similarity in some things, especially with cases and case law, right? You got to
Hey,
look
you
for.
answer everything the way I'm almost about to answer. That's crazy. But yeah. Okay.
You see where I'm going with the question, with the answer. You already know. You know what
You
I'm
are right,
saying?
exactly. It
Yep.
just seems like you about to answer the same way. That's crazy.
Yep.
Uh, and number 4 is being competitive more helpful or harmful nowadays.
Oh my God, this is what I was waiting for. So this is a good one right here. All right, so I feel like being competitive. I just don't look at it as being competitive. I look at it as being creative. I always looked at it this way, right? Because think about it like this: if I got a company, right? If a company already exists,
Uh-huh.
and I'm gonna try to create a company, right?
Uh-huh.
I'm not necessarily just gonna say, okay, how can I compete with them, right? It's like I'm trying to say, how can I make mine better? Right? How can I create mine to be better? Is that necessarily competing? Because once you make yours better, you no longer compete with them anymore. You know what I'm
Uh-huh.
saying? Like I just feel like you no longer are competing with it. You created something better, so you really in your own lane, right? You know what I'm saying? So being competitive isn't only a way to be successful. You know what I'm saying? Being competitive, like most people like, yeah, I gotta get my grind. I gotta get my grind on. You know what I'm saying? All that. No, you gotta be creative. You gotta be creative. Because that's just how I feel about it, man. You be creative. You can create your own way. You ain't gotta worry about being competitive. you know.
I don't know if it's just because he has muscles, but it makes sense.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it does, but in some shape, form, or fashion, aren't you still going to be competitive with the marketing, with trying to pull the people in on that level of competitive? Are you still going to be competing with the company to get the people that you need to buy your product, right?
Okay, I'll give you an
Or is
example.
that something? Is that different?
I'll give you an example. All right, on what I'm doing
Okay.
specifically, right, and I'll let you in on
Okay.
this. I created a parenting workbook, right, and this is for single moms, right, who don't have the support of the fathers, right. So,
Hmm.
I'm just thinking outside of the box. There are solutions that already exist for kids and for moms and such, right? But from
Right.
what reality we live in, we know it's not enough, right? So I'm creating different ways, right? So I got to get people on board to what I'm creating. So just to answer your question, right? The marketing aspect of it, when you create something, right? You got to create something that kind of
Hmm.
sell itself. You know what I'm saying? And that's when you that's when you kind of, when you're in that competitive mindset, and that's what pushes you to really create something great, right? By overthinking the competitive aspect of things, by thinking outside the box. That's where they come that scenario come thinking outside the box. You know what I'm saying? Like, so for me, I just see things a little differently. I really do. I mean, especially from my experience, man. If y'all just knew me and what I've
I guess.
had to endure and how I didn't allow my bad experiences, overcome me, and I have children, right? Two
Hmm.
kids, right? So, I love talking about this story, you know what I mean? Because nobody knows my story, right?
Right.
And how I've had to learn the nature of things, and how I had to learn how being competitive, it won't always work in your favor, but you got to learn how to be persuasive, and so many different other things, like, and that goes along and thinking outside the box, you know what I'm saying? So competitive, and I'm just thinking I'm competitive, but I create ways. I've gotten all my scholarships on my own, right? I wasn't recruited. I tried out, made it, right? I thought outside the box. You understand what I'm saying? So I wasn't recruited and being competitive like everybody else was. No, I went on my own. You know what I'm saying? And tried out and worked harder. And I wore different cliques. I thought outside the box. I did different things, right, to be seen. You know what I'm saying? So, this is how I made it at Mississippi State.
I agree with him 100% because even I love to compete, but that's why they say creative over competitive. But the difference between creative people is not too many people can create. So that's the most people compete. Like my motto is create over compete all day. Like to create solutions or opportunities for yourself. Even in business, actually, there's a book on this topic actually called Blue Ocean Strategy, where in the competition you compete against in the red ocean, is where you have a bunch of companies like, say, burger companies, right? Burgers. Everybody competing on the same burger. In blue ocean strategy, you find ways to make a new burger in a whole different way, right? So you don't compete in the red infested water of all the other sharks. You create new opportunities, like what he was saying. Brand new opportunity. There's no competition, but they're gonna come once you get started. 2 or 3 years, they're right there. They're right there behind you. You know what I mean? So I get what he's saying.
Okay. So I guess
Hello.
it's time now. Huh? Somebody else about to say?
I was
Yeah,
just
yeah.
about to agree
Um.
with you,
Oh, go ahead.
DJ, because even though I'm on a site with a bunch of 304s, I had to create my own lane of not being like that because I seen how many people were on the site and they were doing the same thing because they was competing with one another. But I had to do something totally different. And that's how I market myself. And even though it doesn't generate a bunch of people like I used to, like 2,000 in a room, it might only be 1,000. People are coming to see something different. So
Which
it's always best to create your own lane, and then other people are going to compete. And like the gentleman said up here, it's nothing wrong with competing with one another as far as, you know, in sports, things of that nature, and even in business. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Kev, because it's your life.
Can I say something real quick?
no, I'm listening. Go ahead, and then I'm about to. I got next after that. Go ahead.
I mean, maybe I'm misinterpreting what I'm hearing, but I hear a lot of drive. I hear a lot of initiative. I hear a lot of innovation. Those are things that come from within. That's not competition. Those drive, initiative, and innovation come from within you. I mean, you're essentially competing with yourself in order to make the product that you want better than what's out there. But you know, raw competition is against another person or another group of people. And I think at the end of the day, if in competing, I think it turns into a negative because I'm going to use a phrase that you used a couple of lives back that I was on. It creates a victim mentality where if you don't achieve
What
your
was saying before?
your goal. Yeah, remember I sat in front of my Wi-Fi before in order to make it work.
Oh,
We
you the
already
one that
had
had to
this
stand on that
conversation,
box.
Kev.
I
Come on,
remember you.
man. Come on, man.
remember you. I remember.
It creates a victim mentality instead of the competitor wanting to go within and find that drive and that initiative. They want to blame the competition for their failures.
Hmm.
That becomes
And
a
and
That's what I was
manipulation,
getting.
isn't it?
See, that's what I was getting to. Thank you, Dante. I couldn't word it properly, but Dante worded just the way I was trying to word it. You know what I mean? I mean, that's what, when he said compete, that means you're competing with yourself to make something different. But in actuality, when you put that stuff on the market, you are competing with the other people. Okay, you might have one product, but your product is similar. But okay, what will make your product different? You know what I'm saying? Because we all can say we got millions of gummies out here in the world, and we got to say, okay, now which gummy is better? So now we're comparing, and now we're gonna say who got the best ingredients in these gummies. Which gummies will help benefit me and my health? You know what I'm saying? So in certain way, you are competing with the next person or the next company. If you know what I'm saying? That's what I was trying to allude to. You know what I'm saying? But I get you, Zeus, what you're saying. Totally get what you're saying. And I like the fact that you're doing your thing, bro.
I
And
think
I've been watching you. You know what I'm saying? And you know what I mean? I've been watching you.
I appreciate it, man. Look, I just think though, once you reach that certain level of creating, something that that you believe in, right? You don't worry about the competition at that point, at that level. You know what I'm saying? Because everything has its own lane. You know what I mean? It's so many different things in this world that have been created and profited. And I'm just gonna open your mind up a little bit towards the restaurant industry, right? Because in a restaurant alone, just one restaurant or just a restaurant period, do you know how many $1 million inventions that have been put into restaurants, that have been thought of by just restaurants, right? I'm talking about a paper towel folder, $1 million business. Something so small and simple, but it's meaningful. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like, that's what I be trying to teach the younger generation, the younger guys, right, who be lost, who don't have this consistent guidance in the households that they live in, or the school's not giving them everything that they need to hear, right? To teach them how to be creative, right? The competitiveness is going to exist. It's almost like inevitable, right? But to think outside the box, right? To think something different, right? That works, right? Now, don't misunderstand. We're not talking about just foolishly just thinking outside the box and creating something. No, we're going to validate it, make sure it's something that we know we can use and we know that's marketable. You know what I mean? So that just kind of like go into the trade and workforce development stuff that I got for these kids. But yeah, everything about me is about children and youth and workforce and development, children and child care development, because that's what the world is. That's how the world is getting better. That's how the world it gets worse, right? We can talk all day about adults and competitiveness and stuff like that, but we gotta focus more towards the we gotta turn the arrow around. You know what I'm saying? I just feel like, yeah.
Go ahead, Mr. P. Then I'm gonna try to see if I can get everybody on this. I already know it's gonna be a big shift when I answer this, though. Cause go ahead, Mister.
I'm just saying, without competitiveness, our world will look a lot different. Like, let's just say the world was competing all the way up until Ford created the Model T and competition just went away. We'd be driving Model Ts, and they'd all be black. You know why? Because Ford had the mentality you can get a Model T in any color you want as long as it's black. You know what I mean? And that was their advertising for their Model T. But Chevrolet decided to compete, and maybe we can't make cars as fast because the Ford's model competition was coming up with the assembly line. We're going to produce them faster than people can buy them. So maybe Chevrolet said, okay, well, we're going to make a car. It'll be somewhat reliable. It won't be produced as fast, but we're going to offer 10 colors. So now they've competed by offering a product with more options in some senses. So it's like competition drives ingenuity in a way, and you know, and in some way. When we're all, you know, you look at the Olympics, they used to compete in their birthday suits covered in oil. And now we got people whose whole job is to make $200K a year designing a shoe that's going to be lighter and have more spring back and more aerodynamics so that someone can shave 0.0005 off of their time because of competition. You know what I'm saying? So it's like competition, it has some really beneficial products that are just a nature of it, you know, ambition, creativity, ingenuity, working with what you got to get you further, efficiency. All of these things, in my opinion, are a byproduct of competition in some form.
Right. Try to say one thing before I go, Kev, because I can pick back on what he said.
Just one more thing after he speaks before you go, Kev.
Oh my gosh.
I'm just joking.
No, because he said.
I tell you this whole thing about the shift because y'all kind of y'all answering it, but it's something I noticed though. I think I believe after I say it, y'all gonna shift this whole thing because it's gonna be a whole different thing. It's a different. I'm gonna tell y'all the way I was kind of asking these questions though. But go ahead, DJ.
He said something interesting because before Ford make his car, it was monopolized, right?
Yeah.
He didn't invent a car. They're trying to stop him from making cars, and he fight his way to court for years before he could make his first car because they didn't allow him to make cars. So without competition, monopoly come into play, and that's why all those big companies, steel, car dealerships, oil, all those things are monopolized. So without competition, we don't have nothing to buy from. We buy from one place, and one place will sell us the price at whatever price they want to. So competition is very, very important. But I'm sorry, I just had to say that.
Okay. All right. So first though,
Can I ask you a question real quick?
who said that? Who did?
Dante.
Oh, you about to ask another question?
Yeah, just real quick. I was just gonna ask, you know, when you came up with that first question, are we the roughest and toughest? Did you watch a movie?
No, I'm gonna explain all that as soon as I do my turn. But no,
It's giving me The Last Dragon.
What's that?
Kev haven't seen a lot of movies with it.
She remember that. He wasn't supposed to remember that.
Kev still ain't even seen Lean on Me. It's been out for 40 years.
So you know he ain't seen The Last Dragon with Show Enough.
Show enough.
Yeah, I'm sorry, bro. You missed out on a classic.
I missed out on a lot of stuff. I don't even want to tell y'all cause my friends already be tearing me up about that. So let's get it. I'm telling y'all, it's gonna be a whole different shift. So before I go, after I get done with it, I know you can either give me a rebuttal to it or tell me y'all kind of change y'all answers because like I guess It wasn't whatever. And then I noticed that y'all put it more personal than thinking about the general, right? So with me, all right, I'll read the roughest and the toughest. The reason why I asked this is because, like I said, I noticed that a lot of us, especially if we get into certain groups, or we think if we our family is the rough or went through the roughest times, or we went through this or whatever, so we think nobody else can go through something rougher than us. And then we always think we're the toughest. Like every time we get in a group that we can outbeat anybody, or we the most powerful or something like that. You know, even like family or people that be on gangs, they think that gangs the most toughest or whatever. They think, you know what I'm saying, that they can't. So stuff like that, right? That's what I mean about it. Because I notice everybody got that mentality like they the toughest, especially why, and a lot of people ain't, you know, why a lot of people so arrogant nowadays. But all right, so team segregation, team unity. I'm going for team unity, of course. You know, it's basically off the mindset and stuff, because the stuff we uniting off of nowadays it don't make sense to me, because especially if we going off for outer appearance. I know there's a lot of people like saying that though, and that has nothing to do with your mind, which is just be crazy. Like, but whatever. Everybody got their own reasons. Would you recommend? Would I recommend looking at differences more or similarities more? I'm gonna go with look at similarities more, because I think I noticed, and it kind of ties into the fourth one, because I noticed that every time we talk about something, everybody try to look for all the differences. Well, your struggle wasn't as bad as my struggle. You didn't go for you did, or it ain't even that. It's just always got to be something different. You don't talk like me, you don't walk like me, or something like that. So it kind of counter, you know, I rather look for some similarities, even if our religions are different, right? We always look at, well, you got a different religion, but then it's still some common stuff within the religion. We all want to we looking for love. We all looking for this. So I'm always going to go with similarities more. I think we need more look at more similarities than differences. I think that's our problem nowadays. And then is being competitive more helpful or harmful nowadays? When I asked that question, it wasn't dealing with a personal thing. I think nowadays, with me and from my observation, I think the competitive is the biggest problem nowadays, because you got older people that want to compete with the younger people all the time. They should know better already. That's one of the things. They got people in relationships, they compete with each other. You don't kiss just like them, and you don't or you don't look like this. So I feel like competition is the biggest problem to this day nowadays. Not even just saying for beneficial thing, but competition been getting so bad. I mean, competition, it's like anything, like even with it goes back to what I was talking about, the differences and the similarities. It gets so bad that you think that and it go with the topic too. People be thinking they the toughest and stuff. They want to think, or they want to look at you up and down and like, man, you think you think you better than me or something. I mean, it's just like this competition is really getting real. Like it's like, and basically, like I said, overall, I just think competition is the biggest problem. We be competing over the stupidest stuff we should be competing over. It's way past than I don't think, and that's why I said why I put nowadays, like I was saying, it's for the general. Because nowadays people are not thinking like majority of us that's in this box. They're not using competition in that way. That's why when Jane had answered in that way, and then I asked, I'm like, you talking about you were, and then she switched it and said, and that's the answer I was going to give, right? I was going to say, no, the way people use a competition nowadays is very harmful. It's not helpful, and I haven't seen it. So, how y'all feel about it now that I answered it this way, the way I have viewed it?
I want to agree, because what I see that is crazy right now is us as Black women competing concerning BBLs and going overseas and unaliving ourselves to compete with people that pay over $50,000 for their plastic surgery in the entertainment industry to just fit in with the younger generation. The same thing you said, young versus old. Then you got looks and all this other stuff that's going on. So that's why I said it is harmful, because in a broad spectrum, yes, having competition, and you even got people that are
It's crazy. I think you the only one that actually said that though. That's because, but I think I kind of sensed you, because you was saying it first, and then I was like, "You sure that everybody?" Because you talking about you, then you had said it though. But you the only one that actually said that so far. I thought that everybody had heard you.
right.
They probably
No,
did hurt you.
Harmful. It's
but
harmful.
do you
I
think
can
it's
hear.
what do you call that competition though? Because that's doing something
Yeah, that's
detrimental to itself.
competition. Yeah, that's competition for sure. People always, yeah, that's a competition.
because
If you
now
be on some
people
of these
are
lives and you
competing.
listen, I'm sorry, Jen. Go
Okay,
Go
ahead.
you
ahead.
know, I was just gonna finish up. Now when you see people
You
that are
said
competing, it has nothing to do with it being a sport or anything of that nature. It all has to do with insecurities within. So people are working through their insecurities now.
sure indeed, sure
Facts,
indeed.
facts.
And
We getting
I
somewhere.
agree. I
That's
agree.
why I say I know when I answered or explain it
And
another way, I think y'all gonna see it from a different way though, or how I would put it out because he probably didn't understand the way I put it out anyway. So
I didn't understand it, but I answered the best of my ability.
right,
But I do agree with that because there are a lot of competitions out here. You see it, men versus women,
hello.
women versus women, men versus men.
Oh,
You
I'm
know what I
sorry.
mean?
I got before you
It's
go.
a
I
lot
was
of
about to
that.
say the live that I just went in with Jane, man. That's another thing I mean about competition, man.
Ooh,
Because
I
I
was
was
just gonna
in
say
there
that.
and they was talking about light skin versus dark skin, or they was something talk about that. I'm like, no, that's why I was asking. I was in the comments. That's why I said I wish I can go up there. I'm like, what is the point of this topic? Because I'm like, is it for more separation? Like, and that's what I be meaning. Everybody thinking they got that at the roof. Well, the light skin had it worse, or the dark skin had like. What are we getting to with
I got
this?
told to shut up.
Huh?
I got told to
I
shut
read to
up.
the bottom.
Oh, you got. Oh, I ain't even make it to past that part. I just couldn't take it, and I was at work. I wanted to come up so bad. I was like, "No, what is we getting to?" That's another example right there. Light
I
skin versus
think
dark skin.
Gene, I think Gene gonna agree with me on this. I was listening on somebody's live, and two guys was going head to head. You know what I mean? One got on the other, and now we throwing sets in the whole competition. Well, I'm tougher than this and this right here on game. This right. What that got to do with anything? I'm like, bro,
Facts.
what does that have to do anything? Oh, can't nobody beat me on this. Bro, yeah, any given Sunday, anybody can be beat. You know what I mean?
Facts.
It's not about who's tougher. It's about, okay, you can't have a good dialogue without bringing your game or your set into the whole mix. You know what I'm saying? It's about,
Hmm.
okay, we have our differences. Let's agree to disagree with the situation. We don't have to bring that into the topic, but that's not the topic. But I do agree with you wholeheartedly. You made me change my idea, Kev. Damn
But I
you,
mean,
Kev.
I know I ain't explain it. I know I ain't explained it right. I know everybody had looked at it that way, but I just did it just to see what everybody first look was on it. Anyways, I expected that it was gonna be like that anyway. I did it on purpose in a way. I be trying to. That's why I make stuff so broad. When people are like, "Why you make it so broad?" I just do it on purpose because I want to see what's the first thing, and if people actually reading it right, or you know what I'm saying. So that's what I be trying to do. See what come off people's minds first.
You didn't change my mind,
Yeah, 'cause it was tough.
Definitely shit on mine either.
and
Because it's
I can
like
go
this,
on a
right?
tangent. Why? As soon as you're ready, let me know.
Yeah, because and I respect it, right? I understand why people do what they're doing, but I think, like I said, most people don't know themselves. So they compete.
So,
When they start competing, chasing things outside of yourself, then
so you think everybody
anyway.
like you?
No, we're not
So,
definitely.
so why you said you would change from what I had said then? Because I said if everybody thought like you, then yeah, we would be a better world though. But everybody don't think like you.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry,
Exactly.
I might miss that.
Yeah, you
But
see what
no,
I'm
what I'm
saying,
saying,
right? That's why I kind of, I think I said I did kind of assist Jane because she
yeah,
probably would have answered it a different way too until I assisted her.
yeah,
So yeah,
I got you.
I
yeah.
never answered that first question. Are you, the roughest and the toughest? But it made me think of that quote, that the hard times. Let me see if I can get this right. It's hard times produce strong men. Strong men produce good times produce weak men, and weak men produce hard times. Something like that.
Yeah, I remember that. Yo,
Yeah.
That's what it made me think of. I
Yeah.
wasn't sure if you were going there or
Yeah.
what, but
no, I wasn't going there. No, I
He
wasn't going
did.
there. I wasn't. I do believe in toughness, but I was just meaning a specific thing where everybody it come with that competitive type stuff. I think the overall thing of this thing is competitiveness and the how affect. I mean, how is it harming us so bad that we can't unify? Basically, like that. That was the whole point of this whole topic and questions. You are actually.
Gotcha. That's
I mean,
No.
people unify though. Like it's so crazy because these words are so broad, right? Because
Hmm.
unification, for example, Apple phone.
Hmm.
How much people on here have an Apple phone?
Hmm. They even compete off that. Team
Oh yeah, for
Android, Team
sure they do.
iPhone.
But most people have
At
Apple
least
phone, right? And even that becoming a monopoly because Apple is got what like 50%, 57% of the market share over Android. So even that becoming a monopoly. So the point is, people unify in things that they want to. It's just hard. It's got to be bigger than themselves. Something like it's got to be cool. It's got to be sports. People unify behind those things. If you're talking about like for us, like talk about black people, I guess that's gonna be it's gotta be bigger than
anybody.
ourselves. It can't be just
Yeah.
about black people. It's gotta be something bigger than ourselves.
Facts. I be saying that too, though. But I mean, some people want to do it that way too,
Usually
though.
it's the religion, but that's out the window.
But right, that's even that too. I gotta go a straight mindset. I think that's what I found out as I just through life, me being observant. I said we gotta start unified. That's what I believe off mindset. I think our war is bigger than just the color. You know what I'm saying? I think it's people's mindset. It's people's people that want power. You know what I'm saying? It's even people that's our kind that still want power. Like I feel like even if we was to switch spots, whoever got that mindset is gonna be still that same type of person and stuff. They gonna just be like that. It ain't got nothing to do with the color of our skin. It can be the same exact thing. It's just people that want power. Some people that's greedy. That's a people thing. You know what I'm saying? It's a spiritual type war that people don't really realize. That's what it is. And then it's a lot of brainwashing that make it seem like that it's you know what I'm saying? A lot of people following after certain things and the teaching of hatred and all this stuff. That's what's making this world be the way it is. But the war is really, it's a mindset.
But dog, when you think about it, though, let me ask you a question. When you think about it, though, I mean, I don't know. The world it's not a nice place. The world is not a nice place. It's not cookie cut, right? So wouldn't you want your, just say quote unquote, your tribe, your family, or whatever the case may be, right, to be more prepared for war, right? Rather than not being prepared and then we'll get caught off guard or we won't be ready for this. Or
What you mean?
well, I mean, like this, not necessarily just gunfight war. That ain't necessarily what I really, really, really mean. I mean more so just equipped mentally, right? War.
Yeah.
And we got to think about it from really deep, right? Not just war killing people, but I mean like mentally, right? Because it's a mental war that exists too. It's not just like a action war. It's more so like things
You
that
said my people, right? That's why I said that's a subjective thing. Because my people with me, because it don't even have to be my family. You know what I'm saying? Because they're not even thinking the same way I think. You know what I'm saying? I probably even got enemies within my family and stuff. That's what I be saying.
Right.
So it ain't based off that. It's like, I think it's like I said, it's based off the mentality. So my people will be the people that can, I can get along with, the people that actually can understand, we can understand each other, or the people that's trying to, grow and all this stuff. People that's not playing victim mentality and stuff. They're my type of people. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because we can't get along with everybody. That's just how it is. Some people stay. I mean, they want to stay at the bottom of the bottom. You know what I'm saying? Stay their way of thinking. Want to go off they wants and all that stuff. And some people actually want to move up in life. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes we ain't got time to sit there and wait for some of these people, man, because we just got to go. Because everybody want to spend their whole life off desires, wants, and all this other stuff that they choose not to work with. I mean, they got to get left behind. That's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? Them are my people. You know what I'm saying? They ain't got no skin color to it, though. That's what the real war is.
So basically, it's team segregation. Then.
No, I don't look at it like that. I look at it like this, like, because it's a lot of dudes that I go to in these areas that they just don't want better. These men, and they be men now, that they don't want better. They just settle for just where they at. And I'm like, what is wrong with you?
So, I thought about
That's what I'm saying.
So the reason why I wouldn't say team, it's more unity because I would prioritize unifying than segregate. So I'm just saying, as in, if they just can't get along, if I have no choice, I would rather separate from them. That's all it is. But I would choose unity over everything. That's just me. You know what I'm saying? I'm not purposely going to try to segregate with anybody. Like I said,
that's why
with that mindset, right?
I said 50-50.
When the
That's why
crowd,
I said
I get you.
on unity. Because if you look at it, the way you're saying it, it's like, okay, I want the people that's with me. Okay, that's unified. Okay, and then the other 50, the ones that's not with me, even family, let's put them on to the side. We just move on and do our own thing because I want like-minded people. So you're going to do 50-50 on both segregate and, you know what I'm saying, unify.
And if they catch up, they catch up. That's what I mean. Like, it ain't no closed door as in like, oh, you not where I'm at, so forget you. No, but when they finally build themselves up, they always open I mean, they always welcome with
Right.
open arms. You know, some people segregate so bad that they don't give nobody a chance. They're not trying to hear nothing out because a lot of people do got the wrong reasons why they want to separate or they, you know, why they want to unify. It'd be some crazy stuff nowadays that I be just noticing. Well, nah, you can't be part of it. I can't trust you, but you can't trust your own peoples too. You know what I'm saying? Like
That's
we
true.
don't know what
That's
really
true.
to trust for real because we don't know what we supposed to look out for. You know what I'm saying?
So,
It'd be
dog, let me
crazy. I
ask
don't
you a
know.
Right.
question, dog. Do you believe, man? And it's for anybody, to be honest. Like, do y'all believe that the world is set up for us to be competitive? The world is set up for us to be competitive. I'm looking at it from a legal perspective because it's like the system is set up for us to be competitive, right? You know what I'm saying?
I think humans are naturally competitive
The
beings.
facts. I'll
That's
take
true.
that. I'll take that though.
I agree, but I think the
I
world is
think we
taking
should be
advantage
set
of
up to live.
the world takes advantage of where we are as humans, right? You
True.
know what I'm saying?
True.
Like it's crazy. I'm talking about so many different elements. I see it, right? Where they take advantage of humans, the world takes advantage of humans because of or because of us actually having a natural trait of being competitive. They make a profit off of it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
It's
But that's the thing, though, right?
Right.
The people who want power create those situations. So the people who run in the world, like even for you, for example, you run a company, you want power, because without power, you don't have any influence. So it goes hand in hand. So the more power you accumulate, the more influence you have.
Well, it just to respectfully interject on that. Not necessarily power I seek is change. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's not necessarily power I seek. I seek change and effective change. So, and if
Mm.
people inadvertently gain power by wanting to seek effective change, it's nothing you do about that type of power. You know what I'm
But
saying?
that's what I'm saying, though. I'm not saying it's a good or bad thing. It is what it is.
Right.
To gain influence, you have to have power. Okay, you gotta be respected.
I think that's the problem though. People be wanting that power though. Like instead of just trying to get by, they want power, and that's why I say that can get dangerous if you trying to look for power. You know what I'm saying?
No,
I
it's
don't.
not, but what I'm saying though, it's not because you're looking for power. Like they said, the person who should get the power the most is the person who don't want it, right? But for you, for example, you hosting a panel right now. You getting influence. You're getting power. You're not looking for it, but it just happened naturally. It's when you start living for other people, the
Mm,
natural thing happens. People come towards you, and you exude that power, and you influence other people. Without any influence, there's no power. Without any power, there's no influence. It goes hand in hand.
mm.
Yeah,
I
you see
think
it all the time on here. I mean, you got people competing about who platform is better, who topics are stolen by who. Um,
Yeah, you can't. You know what I'm saying?
I got this many followers. I got this many
Hey,
likes. People send me 2,000 in gifts a day. You see it all the time up here. And those people were not prepared to be entrepreneurs or prepared to be someone that are leaders. They were prepared to follow, and they don't want to take that step to say,
mm.
this is within me. I'm supposed to be following, not leading.
mm. I don't. I don't know. I just can't. I don't know. That power word just sit right with me. I probably can think of a better word. I just ain't feeling the power word. That's all it is. So I'll let that. I gotta think
Hey
on that.
Kev,
I ain't feeling that
so
kind of words either. I'm not feeling that. I'm not afraid.
Hmm? Who was talking?
I stopped when I heard BK going.
I thought I heard.
Oh,
Right. I thought he.
my service went out.
Oh,
But
was you
yeah,
going?
I mean,
Yeah,
but
my
yeah,
service is going
let me
in and out.
question.
Oh, it
But the word
is.
power, don't look at the word power as a negative word. It's just a word.
Yeah, I know. I just gotta. I'm gonna think on it though.
Yeah, it's
I'm
just a
gonna
word.
think on it though.
I'm saying
Have
they go
power
together.
over
Power, influence, they go together. Without power, you have influence. You can use it good or bad, right? That's why people with power. That's why music is so strong, especially rap music. It's a powerful music because
I
it
get,
influenced millions
I
of
get,
people.
I
I
get
think
exactly
power
what
should be used for like how somebody else view you. You know what I'm saying? Instead of like, because I feel like it's like an arrogant type thing to sit here and look for power. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, something like that's probably why it's getting to me. I think that's just
How
like a
about
person that feel like they that call themselves the best rather than somebody else calling them the best. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I think that's probably how I look at it
influence?
though.
you
How
have
about
power over
influence
your
and
platform.
competency?
You have power over your platform, Kev,
Mm.
because it don't matter who come up here if they are argumentative or nasty to, well, not argumentative because we get up here and we debate, but if they are disrespectful, anything that you're not going for, you are going to exit
Mm.
them out. It doesn't matter what type of close
Yeah,
connection you may have with them on this platform. You stand
yeah,
by your rules, and that's influence and that's power.
yeah. That's what I'm about to say. Even with that, right? That's because I'm probably a humble type person, right? I rather not. I'm not a person that gotta voice my stuff or say this is my house and all this stuff or whatever. I'm the type that's like, we already know what positions I got, whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? I'm not the person that want to voice it like I have the power, and if you say something wrong, you know what I'm saying? I'm not that type of person. If it is what it is, of course, but I wouldn't, because I feel like that's like an arrogant thing or a power trip.
It's
What they call it, the
dog.
power, whatever people that be like that. So of
It's
course I get it, but why voice it? You know what I'm saying? That's just like if I know I'm good at whatever, why I gotta speak on it? I feel like that's just an arrogant type statement or something like that.
I
That's
think
what I feel.
everybody have that power though, dog. I think everybody have that individual power, meaning like their respect, because it's respect. It's just respect, respect. Like you give respect. You know what I'm saying? Like you're not gonna disrespect. Like that's the whole part about it. Everybody has that power. You know what I'm saying? But when we come talking about like a power to just say a power to change something, right? A power to influence a whole multitude of people, right? It's like these people are gaining power by falsely influencing people. Hold on, let me just say this because these artists be putting stuff out there that is crazy, and they be gaining power by craziness. So we got to really think about it. Okay, power. Okay, they gaining power by putting out music that say, what did it say? The Pound Town. I'm just saying, Pound Town, beat up down. That she gaining power? Is she gaining power? Seriously? Come on now.
She
I'm
got
just saying.
influence. She got influence, don't she?
She
What type of
influenced, yeah.
power
She
she got?
influenced.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. What type of power? Like,
What she
She
I
got?
got
get
no
it's
power.
power. She can probably make an influence on her, but is that power? Is that power though?
It is
That's
though.
what
But
I'm
she got
wondering. Yeah,
influence.
I'm wondering about that. That's what
Is
I'm
that
wondering.
power?
But she got
Is that
influence.
power right? That's what I'm trying to see.
So you don't think she got influence? You don't see
I ain't
influence in
saying
I
who
she
would
you?
don't
say
have influence.
So I feel that's two different things. Well,
It's equal. They go hand in hand.
No, it's not equal. No.
So
I
if you don't
disagree.
if you don't have any power, how are you gonna have influence?
You can have men
Yeah,
that are
but you
negatively influencing their children that are not doing right by themselves, that are influencing their damn children, and they're gonna follow their dad's footsteps just because they're their dad. You understand what I'm saying? That ain't no. Hold on now. You gotta think about it. They gonna influence their child because they're their father. You understand what I'm saying? They could be doing something bad. That doggone child gonna do right what their daddy doing. It's a negative influence. You understand what I'm saying? That ain't no power over. That's not a power. You look at that as a power. That ain't no power. No, I don't. I'm just
In the
saying.
parent, so yeah, the parent have power in the household. If
But
he's
I
the
don't look at that as a power though. That's not a power because he's
so
influencing
you
his
get
child.
influenced by your child, is they power?
oh, is a child influencing it? I thought you said the parents influencing the child.
That's what. What if it's the opposite way? Would you look at the child as powerful or have
Right.
power?
If he's influencing the person, the parent,
That's
because they
not
go hand in
power.
hand.
I
If
don't
you
look at
That's
that as
cannot,
what I'm saying. I
power.
just thought about. You made me think about that.
if you cannot
My kid
influence,
got power on me. He influenced me.
yeah, because
That's
if
not
somebody
power.
can influence you to do things, they got power over you. That's
technically
like
he's
if somebody make you angry, they got power over you.
I get you on how you say. Yeah, I get you on
he's
that though.
technically
Like,
he's
But
I'm,
technically right,
it
but
go
you're
either way.
saying
It go
talking
it
about
go either
great.
negative or it go positive. It's not. It's just a word.
You're
It's
talking about like massive influence though. You're talking about a person who not only do a lot of they have a lot of eyeballs on them. They're the type of person that knows how to wield that, right? To get more.
couldn't power be like subjective too? Because what you could be powerful to one
Can be.
person and not powerful to the next too.
Yeah, it can be. It's subjective.
Hey,
what
really
I'm saying. Though,
quick.
if it can influence you, if the person have an influence over you, then he got no power over you. But these
Mm.
people, some people have. Like I'm saying, you have power, and you getting power every single day by what you're doing right now with this platform. You're gaining power by having more people following you. You can influence people's lives.
That poom poom got a power.
That's a very powerful thing. I think,
Hey,
and
but
I said this one time to a
Kev.
girl. I was like, "You guys, I don't think women understand their power. 'Cause that's a
Hey,
powerful
Kev.
thing."
When you were
It, it, it
when you
is.
were talking about competition, what could you just give me a recap on what your idea was really quick? Because I remember I was just waiting to disagree with you. As I just want to hear it again before I say
Say here
something.
one more time. So I
I
said
want to compete.
okay, I put down is being competitive more helpful or harmful nowadays. So it wasn't a personal thing; it's like a general thing because I feel like majority of the time we see the way competition is getting put out is it's always in like my hood is better than your hood and man versus woman competition and I can do this better than you. It don't even be in the gym. You know what I'm saying? It don't even be in none of that stuff. All right, I see each other. Or the older people got to compete with the younger people, which I feel that's kind of crazy though. Like they should be the bigger person. Why are you competing with somebody younger than you? You know what I'm saying? So just like me, why would I compete with somebody younger than me? You know what I'm saying? They had their time. It is what it is. Oh, you ain't been through what I've been through and all. It's like it be little stuff like that people be trying to compete with, and rather than for everybody to understand one another. So it's like it's a bunch of stuff I see that just nowadays. That's why I put nowadays, not just personally us, because everybody ain't got the same mentality as we look at competition. Just like I say, if we is competing, compete with ourselves, but everybody's not competing with just themselves. They trying to compete with everybody else. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
Yeah.
if you look,
So hang on really quick because I've been waiting for a minute and I want to get this out while it's fresh on my mind. When I went up and I spoke about it, I talked about two forms of competition, um, healthy and unhealthy. You know, comparing
Mhm.
yourself to hyper successful individuals in that sense, that form of competition is unhealthy. You know, you're looking at these other people and then saying, how come they got it and I don't?
Mm-hmm.
And then I went to another form of competition, which is how can I better what I did yesterday? And that's kind of why I don't agree necessarily, is because if you look up like competitiveness, like the urge of competitiveness, it's a desire. So I think that before we can decide whether someone's competitiveness is healthy, unhealthy, good, or bad, we have to understand the desire that is pushing that competitiveness. So it's like
Mhm.
there's plenty of people who have desires that aren't beneficial to anybody around them and only beneficial to themselves. So in that sense, competition isn't good, like what you're talking about, these petty individuals, you know, versus someone who's being competitive within their own realm, in their own lane, putting the work in on themselves
Word.
to better what they did the day before. So I agree with the notion that there are people who confuse competitiveness with being petty and or being envious of someone else. And I don't think that competitive really fits in that scenario when we really look at it.
They even do it with marriages, you know. People, it's getting serious though. Like their competitiveness is real. That's even with the 50-50 marriages and stuff. I did it,
Yeah,
you did it. Your turn, my turn. You know all this stuff, whatever. It's just
it's always been competitive in a marriage. I mean, I don't, it's always, I got to do one up on you because you did one up on me because you did this for my birthday. So now I got to go a little bit bigger. So
right.
yeah, it's always been there. You know what I mean? So no matter how we want to spin it, it's always been there. You know what I mean? Whether it's been a negative or positive in the communities
Yeah.
for so long. You know what I mean? Because you can get the people that's in power or the people that's, yeah, I say that in power.
That's
You know what
what.
I mean?
Yeah.
I got to get money than what you get. You know what I mean? I got to get this one last million because you got 50K. You know what I'm saying? So now I got to go ahead and get this million because you got 50K. So yeah, it's always been a competition. Or I got to get this house bigger than yours. I got to get this mansion since you got this 10 bedroom. Now I got to go
Right.
get 20 bedrooms. You know what I mean?
Right.
So yeah.
I got to drop.
Do you
Thanks for
feel
having me
that's
up.
helping or harm? Oh, all right, Mr. P.
And in actuality is hurt, is harmful because now I got to go out here and do something strange for this change, try to make this move. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it can be bad because I've seen a lot of people go out here and get these mansions and can't afford them. You know what I
Facts.
mean?
Gym
And then,
shoes. We can pay. No,
yeah,
this can go far though. I just can't think of it all. But
It's harmful because you lose yourself in that process, especially
facts.
when people first become entrepreneurs and then they use competition as their only playing field instead of just saying, okay, I've never sold this item before a day in my life. One item being sold is a positive, one is a come up. But they looking at,
Right,
oh, well, this company sells 10,000 a minute. Well, you're not where that company is, or you'll never be where that company is because you have your
fact,
own quota you have to get to. So when you
fact.
compete with everybody else, you lose yourself. And then you have to gain who you are years down the line and you don't know where to start.
Right,
don't you think
exactly.
that's why a lot of these relationships is failing? Because they always looking at the next or trying to be Disney fairy tale. Well,
Of
it
course,
ain't like
of
that,
course.
and you ain't doing it like that, or you don't kiss me like she do, and all this stuff. You know, all this.
And
It be
I tell people to omit friends, to omit social
social
media,
media. Right, I was about to say
mhm.
social
omit
media.
social
Boy, that's
circle.
super damage.
to not even gain other marital friends, and those marital friends have this competitive type of spirit or attitude. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the reason why it should be a covenant. You know, whatever goes on within your house stays in your house, and whatever your goal is and what you want to work on and your own traditions, that's what you do. And you don't share that with the rest of the world, because the rest of the world is in competition. I think
Facts.
we've come so far, and we haven't come far at all, because at the end of the day, we are mammals. So it's embedded in us to be competitive. But what we
Right.
do with it is what matters.
Facts. Facts.
You know what?
That's
You
what I
hit that
do.
right on the head.
Ego.
Yeah. And that's where that's very important. And I agree with that, because for one, that's why I say I feel, and DJ Claus said a lot too. We have to work on ourselves. You know what I'm saying? When we work on ourselves and stop trying to compete with everybody and work on ourselves, we will look at them like, oh, okay, they got it.
What about
Don't
matching
necessarily.
energy? I'm thinking more and more stuff as I think. People be
Yeah,
thinking, oh,
you
you
know.
think you petty?
So,
I'm pettier.
right.
It
Yeah,
gets
exactly.
serious.
I'm gonna get
Exactly.
pettier. Wait, oh, you
Yeah.
what they say? Oh, you come for me, I'm going to hell or something like that.
Yeah.
Right,
Oh,
that's
shut
what
up.
I'm saying. I'm about to get somewhere. I'm gonna wake some brains up real. I'm thinking some more stuff. They go
I know
low,
what
I
you're
go
going with it.
lower.
Yeah, yeah.
If you go low word, I go low ist.
Right, that's what
They
I
even
mean.
got the, they
This
even
is
got
what
the
I'm getting to.
saying, if it ain't 24 inches or better, it ain't good. So now
Yep.
my friend got 30-inch hair. They got a song.
Y'all see what I'm getting to now. Now we about to get
Yeah,
somewhere.
yeah,
That's what I was thinking. That's all I've been thinking about. Trying to get y'all.
yeah. I get you. I mean, I was just waiting for you to see where you were going at with it, because I mean, I was
Mhm.
going to take it to the left, but Jane was in a live that that was kind of she know what I'm talking about.
You
Yeah,
think you gang bang better than me? No, I gang bang. My gang
Well,
bang is better than your gang bang. That's
yeah.
how it
I
be. I'm
mean,
just saying. That's what I be
hello.
mean about the roughest and the toughest. Everybody think they the roughest and the toughest. You can't mess with me. The old school better than young school better than old school, women better
oh,
than men. Like all this stuff be the dumbest competitions we be doing. Like this stuff is getting serious nowadays.
and, and to that part where you said earlier, Kev, about the old versus young, I feel, and this is just my opinion, you may agree or disagree. I just feel like the ones that's older don't want they don't want to give up that power to the young people.
mm. We
You
getting
know what I'm
somewhere.
saying?
Hmm.
They don't want to give up that power. They don't want to let it go and hand it down to the young generation, because I feel like they see that the younger generation can change it or do better than
Or
what we do.
surpass, yup. They don't
They'll
want to,
surpass. And they're
yeah.
afraid if they surpass them, then they will look down on the older. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right,
So
right.
just be listening to a lot of and I listen to a lot of young people. I do. I mean, I can't speak for everybody else, but when I listen to them, I hear what they're saying, and listen to the older generation. It's like they got a lot of how do I say it? They got a lot of
Stubborn?
pushback.
Oh,
Yeah, and a lot of pushback in school
bro.
because they
I ain't gonna
didn't.
lie, I went in the live. I went in the live
All right.
yesterday, got somebody mad.
Yeah.
You trying to
I
say,
seen it. I heard it.
are
I
you?
heard it. And that's what I was referring to. Hey, that's what I was referring to, Ken. That's what I was
You
referring
was in there when I triggered somebody?
to. Hey, that's what I was referring to, dog. For real. I
This is
said, now
what.
listen. Hey, I want to respond, but I had to go back. I had to go back to work. I said, look at Ken. Now he gonna get something started up in here.
I
And look, I was
told you.
walking in, and just as soon as I said that, here go. I was like, oh
Oh
no.
my, yeah. I
I
be
said,
getting people though. I'm gonna trigger one person a day because everybody be. It's funny because, and I don't. It's not like I purposely do it, but it's a lot of people that stand on some stuff and don't realize how it's affecting them or not. That's what it is. So
right,
just because I care about it, but even I'm gonna trigger people in my own room. That's just how it is. I don't. It's not. My triggers are not to purposely make somebody feel bad, look bad, or nothing. It's just bring awareness of how people is acting nowadays. Like this stuff is
facts.
stuff we need to fix. We need to get out of some of these ways. You know what I'm saying? Even when I was getting into it, going back and forth with the person, I was like, daughter, you are ego driven. You know what I'm saying? You want people to listen to you all day, but you can't get corrected. Like that junk is crazy. Like you gotta
Exactly.
listening gotta work both ways. older and
That.
younger. We got to listen to each other. That's just how it is. We got to stop doing that invalidation of, oh, they ain't that. Oh, that's
Mhm.
just because you don't know nothing. Or you ain't struggled like I when all this crazy stuff. Like, what is the competition for? If you trying to get somebody to listen to you, you know what I'm saying? Why you got to down somebody else before you give somebody else? And then the person actually admitted was like, what I gotta
Yeah.
learn from somebody younger, I was like, whoops, said enough. That's all I gotta hear. You know what I'm saying? You one of the ones I'm talking about. I mean, everybody can be smart. This is cool. I mean, everybody good at what they know on all this stuff, but don't be arrogant about your stuff and don't not give somebody else a voice because you feel like you're the smartest in the room. That's why I got a topic in 2 days. I'm gonna do a topic that's kind of pertaining to that too, because I got they made me think. That's why I say I love these lives. They made me think of some more stuff though. So I got a topic. I'm gonna do that in 2 days. The day after tomorrow, I'm gonna do that one.
Yeah.
Yep.
But
Ignorance and call them people old because they just trying to stay relevant and they gain more years instead of gaining more intellect. Because if I go in a
mm,
room with a whole bunch of high school students, I'm dumb. I'm
Mm,
mm,
extremely dumb. The way they do
mhm,
math, what they talk about, their issues within the world and the community. I have no idea. I was born 1989, not
mhm.
1999, not 2009. So the youth can definitely teach me something, and I
I'm
can
sure.
also teach them something, but I'm not going to make it seem like I'm the person with all of the information, that I'm the only one that can spread it or pass it, because then that
Facts.
makes me ignorant.
Right. And I agree with that because I was in a live the same way. And I was going up on the panel. One of the guys in the comments said, you're too old to be up in the panel with these young. No. He said the thing about it is, and I responded to him before I went up in the panel. I said, no, I got up and I muted. I said, it ain't about young or old. Just because I'm old, I could teach them something, they could teach me something. And I'm in here to listen, to understand, not listen to respond to what they're saying. Because I'm not going to compete with nobody. I'm trying to get their understanding so they can hear, so they can get something from me as well as I'm getting something from them.
Yep.
Man, when I said that one thing, man, one dude, he just went ballistic. I didn't know he looked older, but he was actually younger. And I
Oh
said,
wow.
the thing about it is, we as old people, we're older people, we're trying to show y'all something that y'all may not know. Well, you just have to let it go. No, you have to listen. Don't listen to respond. Listen to understand. And when I said what I said, man, the dude was like, "Look, I don't want to hear nothing no old person got to say." Da 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 da. I said, you know what? Okay, time for me to go. But they're not. Some of them are not trying to understand,
Right.
and
I feel you. I was about to
and
say,
some of them.
oh,
Go ahead, go ahead.
oh no. I was about to say, yeah, that's what I'm about to say. I mean, I wish they had more people that's like you, man. I mean, I appreciate that you like that. That you don't automatically, as soon as somebody younger than you had that little bias, like, nah, it's nothing you can teach me. Like, that's kind of rare though. Even though it's like a few more people that's in my life that actually, and I'm gonna get to like, I'm gonna even make it personal, that actually try to even hear me out. That's when I first met you. I was like, man, you actually understand me. Because I was in different lives. You was catching me in different lives. I was like, what the heck? I didn't even know you can
Yeah,
actually. Because some people, like I say, if I go on certain lives. I'm automatic a dummy sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Or so it just depends on where I'm at. Because some people do have that automatic bias. They look at you like, oh, you young, you don't know what you're talking about like that. And then come and find out when I with that same topic what I was talking about earlier, when I said my whole point, I'm like, do y'all even understand the point of me saying this? Then I went to another room and this lady said the exact same thing I said, and then one of the people was actually that was from that live was in there, and that's all like, and that's why I said something when I was like, yeah, that was my whole point yesterday, because it's crazy how she could say it and everybody can agree with her, but that's literally the same
Mhm.
thing I said. So it's like that's why I said people got this automatic bias in their head or this automatic thing, which is that's why I said it's bad. It's bad. There's people that's like that. You can't. We gotta. That's why I was saying I'm gonna always make that be known though, because like I said, when I got a tool with that person before when she was in my life, because I'm like, you shouldn't be like that. If you want to be teachers can be taught too. You know what I'm saying? You can't think that everything you can say and then you can't listen to somebody else, so somebody gonna end up doing the same thing to you. Everybody want to be
Exactly.
heard. That's the thing. You can't just sit here
Yeah.
and think that I can teach it all, and then what you saying out your mouth don't mean that. I just want you to keep listening to me. Like that's people, and you gonna keep blaming the young people, and then when they start doing it to you, like you gonna be confused. So like you can't expect nothing more. You can't.
Exactly. Exactly right. That's why I like listening to the younger crowd, younger people, because they show me. not show me. They tell me some things that I was like, damn, I didn't know that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And I'm good with researching.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like right here, since I've been on lives, I mean, I did it before, but not as much. But since I've been on these lives, man, you know what I mean? I've gained a whole plethora of knowledge listening to the younger people because their mindset is not like my mindset. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Their mindset are more exploring different things. I'm like, and even with you know what I'm saying? When I came in your life, I'm like, okay, I can feel him. I get what he's saying. I understand where he's going at with certain things. And sometimes I just sit back and like, oh, I already know what he's about to say. I already know. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying?
Get to that point, right? You knew when I'll be triggered already. You knew all the time. Like, what the heck? I just do. That joke be funny to the mud. Cause I can
it's
tell when you
about,
got quiet like that. That's the part
yeah,
that got. Cause that's
yeah,
like that. That's like that empathy thing, right? Or when somebody can actually. Cause sometimes you don't have to say nothing. That's what I be trying to even. I won't even mention it because I was in the live before. I'm like, dog. Because people always like to say communication is key or whatever. Good looks with the good looks, lovely. But I be feeling like understanding. I thought about more of a reason to validate because a lot of, we keep. I guess a few people, whatever. I guess some people say that, but I came more of a reason why I say understanding is key because some stuff shouldn't even have to be talked about so you can understand your partner. You know what I'm saying? So somebody did
right.
mention about like I can tell by the facial expression and all this stuff or whatever that he had a hard day or something like that, and I'm like that stuff. Some stuff shouldn't have to be communicated as long as you understand your partner. That's why I say that I feel like understanding is the top thing, the key. No matter what, even if communication, we communicate still to understand. But I'm just saying, like some stuff you shouldn't have to keep on communicating if you already understand your partner. That's why I be feeling like that's the most important. That's just me. You know what I'm saying? I feel that way. Cause like you should know a facial expression or when somebody do a deep sigh, something like that, or if somebody looks sad or something like that, like you gotta understand your partner. Or just all of us in general, we need to understand one another, but especially in a
Yeah,
relationship, you need to understand your partner rather than just be understood. Because a lot of people want to communicate. I just want you to hear me. I just want you to hear me and all that stuff. Or, whatever. You didn't say that or whatever. No, we got to figure our peoples out that we kicking it with. That's just no different
yeah,
from vetting and all that stuff. That's why people lack that too.
yeah. I agree.
It's
I
just
agree.
it's trying to
Uh,
control and change the mind of the partner, and that's something I had to learn and take some
Oh,
integrity
right.
about when I got married. When
Thanks.
I
mm,
finally sat down with my stepmom and I said, "Well, what did I do wrong?" Because I knew I went through DV, but
say
he
that.
no longer connects to me. So what did I do wrong as a wife? And she said, "You talk too damn much." You argued
Mm,
and you talked too damn much, and you complained about certain things that would get solved all on its own. You complained about that sock being on the floor instead of leaving it there, not picking it up so he can pick up his own sock.
right.
It wasn't a literal sock, but every single thing was a problem. You see what I'm
Mm,
saying? And communication was terrible because I didn't know how to read facial expressions. I didn't know when he was
Right.
sad. I didn't know when he wanted to just be
mm,
left alone. I had no idea until the end of the marriage, and it was already dissolved by that time. But that's something that people don't talk about. They sit around and they say either, "Oh, well, my marriage is great because we do this and we do that." Okay, if your marriage is so great, then how was TikTok a factor? Because when I was married, Facebook won't no factor.
right.
Mm. Mm.
Right.
Yeah.
But that goes back to what Kez just said. And we live and we learn, you know what I mean, from our mistakes. You know what I mean? And then it's about once you start to on this journey of healing or, you know, picking up your pieces, basically, because you ain't gonna be truly healed. But once you do that, you start seeing, and then you understand. You start listening. You start looking, observing people more. You know what I mean? Looking at their facial expression, looking at their body language. You know what I mean? You get. That's why I say I can pretty much know where Kev is going because I'm observing him. You know what I mean? Even though when I get quiet and I go on mute, I'm looking and I'm observing him. You know what I'm saying? And even with Jane, she was in a live. I seen her facial expression. I knew she was really about to get heated or she's about to go, go rant. She about to go. You know what I mean? But she brought it back to a point where she just started talking. I was like, what? Okay, I get it. You know what I mean? And then you can hear it. You can tell when a person's hurt. You can tell when this person is healing. You know what I mean? Or going through the process. You could tell it. Everybody's up here saying, "Oh, I'm healed. I'm healed." No, you ain't. No, you ain't. and a lot of the older ones are not.
Oh, don't do that. You better make the room jump.
Yeah. Anybody say they healed, they need more healing than anybody else.
Well, I was just about to
But
say that the ones that be saying it be the ones, be the
the
worst
main
ones.
one, the main ones are triggered, man.
Because
Mm.
I
life is a
like,
journey. You gotta continue learning, evolving, and seeking out the information. And that's when it get exciting, when you start seeking information, because if you start living the same thing over and over again, that's why it become mundane and boring, and then
hmm
become bitter.
hmm
Because we're not growing.
oh,
If you notice, people are bitter. Most the older folks, who young folks
you
too, but
can't,
older folks who are not
you
growing. Like you can hear
DJ,
BK,
you
he's
can't say
excited
that
about
word.
life.
Don't say that word.
Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm.
Don't say that word.
It's the boring. They're not. When they're boring, they start because they say if you're not growing, you're dying, right? So
Yeah.
if he's just lacking in information, that means just living the same thing over and over again. So how are you gonna be happy?
hmm That's true. That's true.
That's why you see my face like that in that live, BK, because it's certain people that I rock with
Yeah.
in real life. And then on this app, people get entangled with all this other stuff that really don't matter, and they use their energy towards things that really, really don't matter. Because when you turn off the app, those people do not exist. Y'all in different states, y'all doing different things. They probably wouldn't even visit the same restaurants that you would go to, and it definitely wouldn't be at the same time unless that was what was meant. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So some things bother me. I have to take a step back. Sometimes I took a little break for a month because it's just like, you know, even my child say, y'all sound childish until I get to
Mm,
Kev live. But she'll be like,
mm,
what you listening to? You know what I'm saying? And even with the older generation, you could tell they don't talk to the youth because they're still fighting a fight that they're paying. We passed on that burden to them, and they're actually correcting it. You got
thanks.
the palm colored children are actually catering to the black children within the school when it comes down to they knowing their history. I mean, they
hmm
bring pencils, they carry them to certain places, and they don't have a problem doing it. Nobody forced them to do that. They understand exactly where we came from because they are looking at us, and they have gained some type of knowledge concerning the history because it's not taught in schools. You got other
Right.
parents that are teaching the children at home because it is sometimes all the time, every single time your child comes home from school, it should be at least 2 hours that you're teaching them something. And it's something more than what the schools can even teach, especially if it's public. So you
Mm-hmm.
can tell they're not even listening to the kids. Because I be all on that side because I got to check after what my kids look at. And their lives are chill. They laugh and joke. They even play Bad Girls Club sometimes where all of them out like they beefing. They role play. They have singing competitions with their little cash out money. They do all of that. We're the only ones still trying to get it.
Mm.
Right. I agree with
Sad.
you on that. It is sad. And to that word, what DJ,
Wild West out
DJ
there.
Paul just said, they are bitter. A lot of them are bitter. And, and I'm gonna put emphasis on that word bitter because you can hear it. You can pretty much see it. You can smell it, even if you're on virtual, because a lot of them you can hear it in their voice when a young person is telling them, is reading them up and down. You know what I'm saying? And then everybody want to get on. I love to talk about the Bible, so I'd love to learn different things about the Bible. I'm not set on just one gung ho the Bible. I want to learn, okay, what you got to say. I'm not going to sit here and beat you down with the scriptures. I'm not going to beat you down because everybody know that they know who they got to, when life ends, they know who they got to answer to at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? If I can say one, I'm good, but I'm not going to beat you down with it because for one, my past ain't clean. So I can't beat you down with nothing. I can't
Thanks.
throw no stones in your window, and you try not to throw no stone in mine. Because at the end of the day, are we both done wrong.
Thanks.
But the one kills me, or the one up here. Oh, you did this. But when somebody speak on your past, oh, that was then. This is now. No,
Facts.
wrong is wrong.
Trying to have hypocrite.
I, you know, thank you. Hypocritical.
And they hang around other bitter people, and they don't broaden their friendship list, or their I don't call anybody a friend. If you're my friend, you my family. And I
There you
can't take what I know from the US over to my best friend's country, which is China, to go sit with her family. I have to learn their traditions when I go and sit and I eat And when I, when I want to greet them and things of that nature, it is called learning. But a lot of people, they learn the same thing over and over again, which is ignorance. It's a circle of insanity. They want to do the same thing. They want to say the same thing. Y'all ever follow somebody on here and then they be on a platform and they say the same thing from one live to another, and they're
Uh-huh.
expecting somebody to answer questions?
Yeah.
They ask a whole nother live. They're not looking for a perspective.
Uh-huh.
They're looking to get the answer they're looking for. And then
Yeah,
Mm,
because they got
validation.
some.
But you see, the
Yeah.
thing is too. This is one thing I learned. People are. That's why even the word submission is so triggering for some people, because they hate the word so much. They
Control.
don't understand. You gotta be humble to learn.
Mm-hmm.
Just gotta be humble.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't
You
know
got
everything.
to. That's right. Yeah, you're right. I've been stealing some words from you lately. Well, not words, but some stuff I just don't be using. Like even willpower, I've been saying that lately now, man. For this one, that's something that's gonna be stuck because I realize a lot of people don't have that willpower. That's what the problem be. But a lot of people ain't meant for it either.
Just gotta be
Yeah.
humble. It's learning. How you gonna learn from somebody who know everything?
Humble. You
Yeah,
said
it's
humble, and you use power. It's
the
like, no,
wrong word.
stop.
Yeah.
Let me stop.
It's the
I
same
didn't
like
expect
submission.
that word. It's like, let me stop.
It's the
I
same
was
like
expecting that one.
submission. Like, people scared. Those words so triggering to people. Like BK said, he submit to God. Everybody submit to something. You submit to your religion. You
Exactly.
submit to your job. You submit to your purpose. You submit to
Hey,
your something. You know what I'm saying? So it's not a bad word. People just using these words and just get triggered by it, and then they just turn off their whole mindset to
that's what
like.
happened when you
Yeah.
ego
Yeah.
driven. Yep.
Yeah. That's their emotions kicking in. That means, you know what I'm saying? They looked at the definition and not realizing, okay, it can, it's submissive. It can be a objective word too, because it can go either way. Because you can submit, like you said, you can submit to something
Word.
Oh, they
at
do.
the end of
Everybody
the day.
submit to something. They do their
Yeah.
job. They submit to their fucking boss. They submit to something. Something got their attention. They got to submit to.
Yeah,
You
don't
know what
it
I'm
And
like
saying?
something,
mainly like yield at or give in or something like that?
Yeah,
Everybody got some point they give in.
When
they have
you
to.
yeah.
get
But submit to
married
your man is like a crime.
and you submit to your partner when you get married, to your spouse, it's as
I submit to
simple
my
as
purpose.
this. If I
Hmm.
don't know how to cook or I don't like to cook, say I know how to cook, but I don't like to cook, but my partner loves to cook, I'm going to submit to them loving to cook, because even though I like to cook sometimes, and even though I can cook, it's not my favorite thing to do. But it's their favorite thing to do, whether male or female.
Hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
therefore, I'm gonna go sit down while they cook. Now, if they want me to join them, I'll join them. If they don't feel like doing it, they don't feel like doing it, and I will do it. But as far as submission is, it's simple, because when you get married, you're going to submit. Both
Hmm.
Yeah.
parties are going to submit to one another.
Of
Mm.
And
course.
it's not modern. In tradition, I'm so sick of that word traditional, because at the end of the day, we never truly had traditions that are here in the U.S. unless it's embedded with negativity. We never had
She
traditions.
got
You have to
she
create
did her job, got you to throw you off your topic. That's what she do.
You have to create your own tradition. That's why I don't like reading the comments. You got to create your own within your family. If you
Point
have
for hobo.
pizza night every Friday, that's called a tradition. If you go
Yeah.
out to Disney World once a year, that is called a tradition. If you put your socks in one drawer and they put their socks in another, now you created a whole tradition. Traditional is what you create. Family is what you
Mm.
create. You are born into
Right.
something, but you create your own family.
Facts.
Yeah, people
Facts.
forget those things though. They forget. They hear these words and get triggered and just like put it into one box.
Kayla, I see you in there tapping and stuff, man. I ain't
People
heard
not
from her in 100 years. She been
people
working
not
Ah,
though.
finding themselves. It's that's the thing. When you
Jamie.
find yourself, that's the thing. Kevin always talk about accountability, because once you find yourself, you become accountable. Now you can create the life you want. But they just
Mm-hmm.
don't.
Facts.
They don't want to just be humble enough to be accountable for themselves. Just to be humble enough, like, okay, cool. What the fuck do I want? Who do I know? Who, you know what I'm saying? Just be humble for a change. I promise
Right.
you, some people get humble and relax. They see the world completely different, and they're more relaxing, more humble.
Yeah.
True. True.
Life a little
That's
bit
true.
more easier when you humble too, man.
Way
People just
more
don't
easier.
realize it. I
I,
feel
I like how you
it's a
said that.
lot to sit here and try to be the toughest and the most arrogant. And it's a lot. You got to do a lot for that. Be the most popular. Beat all this. Like, sure, you can have it. That's the type of lifestyle I'm living. Mentality. Whatever, you got it.
Right. By the end of 2023, I'm trying to get a few haters on my team. You know what I mean? Everybody ain't gonna like it. You know what I mean? And I like how you said that, James, too. You know what I mean? I didn't even look at it like that. I was looking at different ways. I'm like, okay, what's modern? What's submission? You know what I'm saying? So I like how you put that. That defines what I was thinking.
Fast, because I ain't never gonna listen to somebody that's using an iPhone talking about they traditional. Well, go back to using Morse code then. Go
I
back
can
to
get the well, I get the concept, but yeah, you put it a more detailish way, I get you. And I always said that you really ain't gonna be nobody gonna be really like the real tradition unless they literally was just not right on electricity and all that stuff. So there's no way you can go back to your real traditional way. I say, especially with the lives I go to, I am like team. We was playing team this, team that, but I ain't that. But I do. I would prefer. I would say the traditional traits. I would say.
Hmm.
But otherwise, I know a lot of times it's still gonna get modernized anyway. So it ain't no real tradition. But I'm just saying the mentality behind it. I do
Oh,
agree with the men being the leader, women submitting, woman taking care of the child, man take care of the whole household. I wouldn't mind, if I could set my life up to do that, because I don't mind taking care of the family and you put my life on the line for the family and just let my wife do the lighter work. You know what I'm saying? Even though they don't even look at that lighter. How much it take for a kid and all that stuff. I don't know, but I bet you money if it was we doing both construction jobs, you want to stay with that kid. You know what I'm saying? So it'd be funny to me, but.
But that's, you
I
see,
mean,
that's the thing
I
though.
do love. That's why I be always kicking it with my TT Kanai, which is the reason why I'm on here. You know what I'm saying? The reason why I've been doing this stuff is I branched off from her,
But
and a
it's
few people that be teaching the traditional things and stuff. So I am with the mindset that come with it, or them type of women and stuff. They
but it's not
basically
women that
teaching
submit.
women to be more feminine and men to be more masculine. I'm down with that all day.
yeah, I agree with you on that one.
Because we're more
It's
happier that
just the
way.
traits though, but I do get what Jane mean though. Like that, it ain't no literal like. It's never gonna be that. Too
Yeah, I
modern for
mean,
that.
for a woman to be submission, like it's not like she gotta. I think they're confusing. They're losing themselves. Like, oh, I can't work anymore. I can't do this. I can't do that. It's just allowing the other person. It's that's what I'm saying. These words just like she just said traditional.
Feminism.
They just use these words in this blanket statement. Like she said, they can create your own tradition.
right.
Hmm.
Okay, we're gonna do this every
Feminism
week.
got them with that ego
But
going crazy.
moving out on Sunday
You
number
ain't
time.
telling me anything because I can do what you can do.
Yeah,
It ain't
they
even
just lose. They
feminism.
just lost, man.
It's not feminism. It's masculinity. Because
Mm.
I wouldn't trade having this punani for nobody. I
Oh
would
Lord.
not want to go out and have to work construction, have to be outside, have to be viewed in this world as dispensable. I wouldn't want to do that. You know what I'm
Oh
saying? I wouldn't want to be ignored. I wouldn't want to be put on a chopping block based on my gender and then also based on my race. I would want that. Like if more women taught how to be feminine, but if you use that word, if a man says, I want you to be more feminine, that's a problem too. You know what
Right.
I'm
What the?
mm.
And then for
Hmm.
men that get on the panels and they say, well, I want you have to do this and you have to submit to me because I'm a man. No, you're first of all, if you're looking for a woman and she's already not what you're looking for because she's not feminine, okay, conversation over, date over. Because that
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
person is
Right.
being masculine. They have a masculine energy. You know what I'm saying? So you can't ask for what somebody already don't have. And it did not come from just being the mother and the father. It comes from the fact that the people they surround themselves with and then the environment that they're in. And then they have to have integrity and realize their issue. But being feminine, I would never. I see what my brothers got to go through. I see what y'all have to go through. I see what my father had to go through. I would never trade in the easy life. It is easy being a woman when it comes down to a great deal of things. It may not be the
They don't want to hear that. Don't
but
do
it's
that.
easier than being a man from a vantage point. I don't have a penis, so I can't see. But from a vantage point, it's easier. It is so much easier. And having children is a choice. Now it
Right.
may not be by law,
I
but
would never change
the
my
actual
situation.
act is by choice. So if you choose to have a baby, that's on your choice. You
Oh
cannot
my.
say
She
that,
trying
well,
to make this room go to 200.
Ain't lying.
you can't when you have a baby, when you get married and things of that nature, even when you get married, tomorrow's not promised. So regardless, you have to make sure that you're good. All this 50-50 thing, no, I don't believe in that either. I'm sorry, I
Hmm.
don't believe in splitting anything 50-50. I believe in 100-100. So if I can't afford that house on my own, I am not going to get that house. What if something catastrophic happens to my husband? I got to take all those
Some
bills.
somebody gave me
So
another. a way of viewing it, even though I still feel it's 100-100. But somebody was like, no, it's never 50-50. It should be. Sometimes it's 60-40, 70-30. But the way he explained it, though, it sounded kind of legit, though. But he said, like, sometimes you wouldn't, as a being part of the, basically because y'all being with each other, right? Most of the time, y'all picking up for what the other one's slacking. You know what I'm saying? As a relationship, you know what I'm saying? That's how I be or whatever. So when they put it in that way, because sometimes you ain't gonna be able to be your 100, or you ain't gonna be your, whatever. It ain't gonna, because 50-50 seem like petty though. Same kind of petty. Oh, you did it, now it's my turn. You got to take care of that. I do this. You know what I'm saying? Like, or whatever. So I do go for 100, but the way my man's explained it though, in another way, like I do think it is like a 60, 40 or 70, because everybody in a way they just pick up for what the other person's slack in. Sometimes that's just what it is.
Hold on,
Please
Zeus,
let me
Right.
before you
interject.
eat me up,
Please
I
let me
want to
interject.
finish my point. Before you eat me up.
Who said that? Who
Please
eating
let
up?
me
Oh, that,
interject.
Zeus
yeah.
came up here to tear me up, and
Oh,
I
that.
want to,
No,
Uh-oh.
no,
I want
no.
to
I'm
finish
Part
not
my
two.
finna
point.
Say
tear
no.
anybody
I
up.
just want to
Let me
explain it
interject.
the way I had to learn it within my marriage, and then how my parents also have done it, and their parents did it. The thing about 50-50, like I said, if I cannot afford this house on my own solely, if something was to happen to my spouse and I don't have the money saved up to the side, I should not be getting this house with my spouse.
I'm gonna
Because at the end
disagree
of the
with you.
day, if something catastrophic happens to my spouse, if he loses his job, if he loses his legs, if he loses his life, I would have to be able to come on the back end. So instead of saying 50-50, okay, she only needs 50% of something is failing. Nowhere in life can you get up and do 50% and get 100% of a check, or keep your 100% of a job, or do anything else 100% or 50% and get 100% anything. So if you have the money for the house and say you split the bills 50-50, okay, the other 50% goes into a savings. That's how you do that.
Okay, okay. So I guess I was thinking that you were
Yeah, you was
talking
ready
in
to
the
come up there
context.
and strangle something.
I thought that she was just speaking in the context of being a single parent and splitting 50-50 with the child with the other parent, right?
What the
We're talking about 50-50 while being in a relationship
In a marriage.
yeah, regular
in a marriage.
relationship.
Yeah, because I
Oh,
pay
oh,
child support.
oh, I completely agree with you in what you just said. I completely agree with you in what you just said.
My boy
Completely.
had to go to the gas station for that. Hold up.
Oh
What
no,
the
no, no. I'm
I
headed.
put it
Look,
on.
no,
I
what
put
I'm
it
doing
on.
right now, I'm headed to a mom's house. Her son is 16 years old. She contacted me. This is what I do in my program, right? She got bullet holes all in her house. This is what she told me. The boy is in an environment that he needs to be brought out of, right? You know what I'm saying? That's what I do in my program. These moms don't be understanding how to handle these boys when they get to a certain level. You understand what I'm saying? Like, that's why I said I don't believe that women can raise men. You know what I mean? They can try. They can try hard as they can. They can foster. They can do everything they can to put forth trying to raise a man. You know what I'm saying? But men need to be involved. Period. 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 If you think that you're a single mom and a woman thinking you're raising your child, your son specifically, your son by yourself, and you think you're doing a good job, I'm sorry, you're not. No, you need to get a man involved, period. Because he gonna lose the rounds and he gonna start attacking you at some point. He gonna start testing his balls, you know what I'm saying? Y'all ain't gonna know how to handle the situation. You know, it happens so much, and a lot of moms are so confused by thinking that they're raising their sons the right way. You know, I'm telling you. But yeah, I just had to chime in on that one. Yeah, I ain't mean to interlude.
You good?
For sure, man.
I agree with you, because my dad is definitely gonna get my sons, his grandchildren, his grandsons, in about 2 years. He's gonna take care of them if he lives that long, and if I live that long, and if they live that long, he gonna get them. Because I don't know what I'm doing, and I'm too
Back to the
feminine.
Them too
back to the
feminine.
marriage back to the marriage
Wait,
point that
hold up.
you
I
just
like that
talking
person
about.
that just followed me. Said accountability. I just caught that name off rip.
So back to the marriage point you're making earlier, Kev. As far as like, the 60-40, 50-50 and all that shit, I think it's like we make a mission what we're gonna complete in life together. Like what that's why I say for men to be leadership, you gotta know yourself and know what you want. Right? So when a partner come in, she can help you get to where you're trying to go. So it doesn't become about 50% or 40%. Like, we got shit to do. Because when I live with my grandkids, like I said this before, my grandkids gonna have a great life. They won't stay with me, but when they come to my house, they're gonna want to come back every year. That's my mission for the next
Mm-hmm.
10, 15 years. You know what I'm saying? So when we have these conversations, me and her have these conversations, like, what we plan for? Like, we're gonna have a house down there. We're gonna have vacation. This, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I'm living for. It's not about 50-50. That's petty. We got
That's
we got
petty.
shit to
That's why I
do.
said that's petty.
We got shit to do. We got investments to make. We got, you know what I'm
That's
saying? We
why I
got
would
people.
stick with 100. Got to stick with that. But then they might. Okay, we sticking with 100 mindset, right? That meaning you trying your best. Both sides trying their best, but the results usually gonna come out like 60-40 or
Yeah,
something like
of
that,
course, of
or
course,
70-30. That's just what it is. That's
of
all.
course. But the family come first, and that's the thing people understand. Like, they just put this, make the family come first. The goals come first, and then, you know what I mean. We because she in the and this is the next thing too. It's not just it's not dependence. It's interdependence. That
Yeah.
means she's independent on her own. I'm independent on my own. So we choose to come together and create what we're trying to create.
Yeah. So just like I was mentioning before, that's why I had a thing, a little popular video I had made when I first started this topic. I mean, this TikTok. I said that your significant other should be an addition to your life, not an addiction to your life. And I think that's be our problem. We make our partner be us. You know what I'm saying? When we should be somebody we add to our life. That's what it should be. But that ain't get that popular like that. But when I get up there, I bet you that video gonna blow out here because I don't think nobody used that. I use the hashtag just in case somebody try to steal my stuff.
Yeah, repost it. Yeah. Repost is a new
Yeah.
hashtag.
Okay, we the
Mm-hmm.
creating hashtags. I wanna say thank you to Zeus for stepping outside. It's dark right now. Zeus is stepping out for a young man who needs assistance, and it's off of TikTok. You know what I'm saying? He's doing
Mm-hmm.
the groundwork for real, and that's appreciated. It's needed, and if any advice you could give to me for future reference. And if you want to, what I'm saying, do Zoom calls or whatever with my boys, even though they're young, you know, you can do it if you feel like you need to, because I'm asking for it. I need a community, because I heard that when they turn about 11, they get
Listen,
turned up.
that's what I'm saying. And look, that's why I'm so passionate about this, because a lot of times the moms don't be seeing it because they aren't 11 yet, right? So in this particular situation, like a lot of times, because I'm a former deputy officer, right? That's why I'm going to law school, because it's so deep. It's so deep. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I go into the community and literally go in the hood, right? Sometimes I have to put on my bulletproof vest. I'm gonna just be real with you. You understand what I'm saying? Like, that's just how real it is, right? But I'm from the streets myself, right? I was raised by a single mom. You understand what I'm saying? Like, so my dad died at 8. It ain't like I didn't have him at all in my life. I knew of him, and my mom kept his image of me, image of him in my vision, in my perspective, my trajectory of to where this is who I want to be an image of, right? So it's so much. That's why I have my workbook. I'm gonna release it on Amazon. I'll be in touch. But I literally, this ain't nothing new to me. I swear to God. These young boys and these moms, they need so much help. And I'm talking about, I'll be at it. I'm talking about, I go and get their ass out of the environment that they in, that they mama want me to go get them. I snatch their ass up. I ain't playing.
And that's true, Zeus. I agree with you wholeheartedly. Even in my community, you know what I mean. It's sometimes it's rough going in these neighborhoods, and we supposed to be all one people, but you know what I mean. But in certain neighborhoods, you just can't go into. You know what I mean. And I try. I'm going now to get that pew pew. You know what I'm saying? So just because it stops with me, but for my protection, because there's kids that I want to go get because they are
All
hurting
right.
real. You know what I'm saying? Because of the environment they're in. But I don't know. I guess I'm gonna have to take pointers from Zeus. You know what I mean? He gone, and I want to get his information. So I definitely need that type of understanding how to go about it, not with the mentality of because I'm older. You know what I'm saying? I want to go with the mentality that he had. You know what I mean? Go get him by all means.
I
Cause
mean, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I
you good, you good, you good, you good.
need to feminize myself.
Feminine.
Uh-oh.
Just in the
Okay.
comments. I'm always in the comments, but not really in the comments. Because Hobo Lion said, I have so many questions about this whole single mom
I
scam.
wanted to come up. She didn't want to come up. I'm waiting and see what she.
Yeah, because I could definitely answer that question for you, sis, because it is impossible for us to be able to raise sons into men fully. They will still go out there and they will still try to get some type of male bonding. Some of them stray completely from the family because they don't have any understanding within the household. There's nobody to talk to. And just
Mm-hmm.
putting them in sports is not good enough. They need to see a good male influence on a consistent basis, even if it's dad, if it's brothers, if it's uncles, if it's cousins, and if it's even an outside source. They need that because imagine I was raised by my dad. Imagine not being able to express feminine things with a man that doesn't have any understanding that says, go and talk to such and such. Good thing he did because he wasn't trying to answer those questions. He didn't have the answer to them. And just like
Right.
we as women do not have the answer to what men will have to go through. We
You know,
don't
I just thought
know.
about something. Wow. I just, you made me think about this even more, and that made it even more valid why you saying what you saying. I feel like only a masculine woman would think that they don't need a man to take to help or to fill in that thing. Because like my thing is, if you real feminine and you want your child to be brought up masculine, why wouldn't you look for a masculine figure? You see what I'm saying? So if you feel like you got the that you're masculine, right? That means that you gonna automatically like you gonna have that thought like, well, why can't I raise my son or something like that? So you would have to be like a masculine type woman to think you can raise a man to be, you know what I'm saying? Because you gotta be masculine to raise masculine, right? That's what I would have thought. That's what like
Yeah.
you see what I'm saying? I
What's so
don't know.
crazy?
That's something I just
Yeah.
thought about.
What's so crazy
You
about
would
the
have to
whole
be
thing you just said? The
huh?
craziest thing is this, right? The world gonna teach them. So when these boys raised by single moms, we see it every day. The single mom boys who raised by, you know what I'm saying, having no
Oh,
male.
they very emotional.
We see it
Oh
every
yeah.
day. So the world gonna teach us. We're gonna teach them, and they react a certain way, and they
I
do
can
certain
tell
things.
that quick too. I can
You know what
tell
I'm saying? So
Yes, sir.
we
who
That's
see it
that's
every year.
that's fast.
who I've been getting into it with them the past couple weeks.
Yeah.
I can tell them
Listen,
real fast.
And they're like, you know
listen.
what I'm saying? And I'm not trying to talk bad about them because I was raised by my dad, so I understand. Yeah, I understand some people go raised different ways, but we see it every day. The people who were raised by a single mom. I'm not saying it's a bad thing because there's good examples coming of it. I'm just saying that you can see the outcome of what.
Who got influenced, right? Who
Yeah,
influenced the person more? You can see it. Even if you got a two-parent household, you know what I'm saying? Whoever influenced the child more is the ways they gonna take.
yeah.
And this,
I do agree.
Back to
I,
that power thing again. The wife got the power in the house. when they
Yeah.
see it's back to that power thing from earlier. The women
Yep.
with the power
Right.
influence.
Because under the power again. Yeah. Well, in that case,
I'm
I
telling
guess you
you,
could say that, right? You can say
it's
that
not
though.
like a big thing like government press. It's just it's what I mean, vicinity. It could be one person.
Yeah.
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 I mean, growing up, I had that influence with my dad. You know what I mean? My dad had the influence outside the house. You know what I'm saying? But my mom had that influence inside the house.
Yeah.
And that wasn't bad. You know what I mean? My dad knew he knew how to submit and my mom knew how to submit. So it wasn't bad or it wasn't, it wasn't bad for me. You know what I mean? Because I understand
What?
listening to different people. Try to understand. I could, like Kev said, I can hear it when these men say, "Oh, I got a single mom." Yeah, I can pretty much hear you.
Right. I can
You
hear
sit here, you can sit here arguing with women. Why are you arguing with a woman? You know what I mean? If you raised by a woman, you should have empathy
it.
for a woman.
Quick to snap and everything. I mean, you could
You
tell. So calling us
don't
out of his
argue.
name, can't control their emotion.
Some of them is talking about emotion. A woman want an emotionally intelligent man, but you're not emotional. You know what I'm saying? You're emotional. You know what I mean? You don't have that intelligence because you can hear it in your voice. You can hear every time a woman say something, you got a rebuttal against what she's saying, or you're talking louder than what she says. She is. Y'all arguing back and forth to a man and a woman. I'm like, these men here say they this and that, but they just talking.
He probably had
They
a
just talking.
feminine dad then. Oh, boy. I got the
Ooh,
answer for all that.
ooh.
well, not just that. I mean, To be honest with
Cool.
you, where is the proof behind that? I mean, we could say what we see, but where's the proof behind that? Saying that, because from what I could
Super
see,
masculine. She try to make anything sound. That is rare.
when it comes down to single dads, there are more, there's more of a success rate when a dad is raising a child than when mom is raising.
Don't make the room sweat again. Chill.
There
Yeah.
are conversations that's not normally happening.
She try to.
And I say that, and my child's father is raising our daughter right now, and has been doing so for the past 4 years because that's where she wants to be. But when it comes down to it, I don't have to worry about him being promiscuous. He's filling up his time with what his daughter wants to do.
Mm.
She's learning from him how to be feminine because that's the image and the first idea she's gonna have when she goes out in the world and she looks for a husband. She's gonna pick somebody just like her dad. So why would I not want him to be the primary energy for right now? Now, when she turns to teen years, of course, he can't handle that because he's not gonna put his hands on his daughter. So I'm gonna have to
Right.
take over. But when it comes
Right.
down to it, who's she
Because
gonna
you
get the
will.
depiction from?
So Jane, you will put your hands on her, huh?
I thought about that. How men can teach women to be feminine in a way. I just thought about that. So I see why it's a more effective with them, and that's kind of crazy though, because you know why? I thought about it. Because by him being masculine, right? He basically gonna teach her how to, because he ain't gonna act it, but her respecting her father, right, is what's gonna automatically turn her to be feminine, right? Because she gonna automatically respect her father, and then the father could teach his son how to be masculine too. So I can see both, but I can't. But if it's like the opposite way, right? Say if the woman was trying to teach, it's no way that she could be able to teach a boy how to be feminine, masculine. My bad, masculine. Because if she's a feminine woman, how would she be able to show that? Like because she would have to be like, because by her, I don't know how to explain, but she would have to be masculine to show him how to be that way. Like, I need you to teach me like this. So it's rare to be like that because she's feminine. So it's no way she could be able to show her son how to be masculine. It's not the same though, because like the dude, it's not the same because if the father is masculine, by him teaching his daughter how to obey and stuff, she's automatically gonna, she gonna automatically submit. She gonna automatically do all that stuff. He don't have to act feminine for her to be feminine. You see what I'm saying? But
Right,
the woman will have to act masculine for the daughter, I mean for the son to be masculine. You see what I'm saying?
right.
I
You
don't know if
come
you
off,
get it.
you
I
come
get
off
it.
wrong. You come off
I don't
weird.
think I'm trying to see if Hobo get it though, unless she just don't want to get it though. But I just thought about that. I literally thought about this. The reason why a man can really do both and a woman can't do both, unless the woman want to be masculine. But most of the time, it don't be like that. Or some will be masculine, but then they still like show them that other way though. You still having a feminine way though, but with that lack
But
of
you know, I think a dad is more softer on the girls than what he would be on the boys.
All day.
yeah,
Yes.
I
Yeah.
feel you.
And
But
that's
I
what,
think
and then and
I,
in
they
return,
still
she
gonna
would
teach them how
expect,
to respect them though.
yeah, and she in return, the daughter would feel like, okay, shit, you don't talk to me this type of way. My dad don't, you're not my daddy, first of all, nigga. You don't talk to me that type of way. So she would know what to expect from a man. Not
Mm-hmm.
the craziness like they don't respect a
You
man.
said your dad don't. That's all I said. She don't even respect her dad already anyway. So
Because the vetting process happens, we can't vet our own men. We have to take them to daddy or take them to brother or take them to uncle. We have to take them to somebody in the family so that they can see exactly who we're about to get married to because of certain things they can see within men that we cannot see.
That's true. That's true. I agree. I totally agree with you on that because my son, he's 21 now, and my son lives with me. He
mhm.
came to me about 2 years ago. He was like that. He
Mhm.
would start asking me questions. I said, well, so you talk to your mom about it? He was like, yeah, but I rather hear it from you because you're gonna say it in a more manly way than what my mom was saying.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And you can pretty much see things that my
Because they
mom
usually be
can't see.
softer on the kids.
Yeah, yeah. So I do get that part. You know what I mean? I never knew what that was until I got here on TikTok. I never heard of masculine and femininity.
Right.
I never heard that, honestly. You know what I mean? Because that how much I've heard it until I got here on TikTok. And that's just being truth about it.
Yeah.
I understand it now. I know what they mean.
And
Totally get it.
Yeah, I think I was explaining that because it kind of goes back to why they say the stats is like that. I was trying to make sense of why them stats is like that. Why they say the father is just as effective as a two-parent home. So it had me thinking about it, made me, it kind of made sense when I thought about it that way though. So that's only what I'm saying. It.
And the idea that fathers will reach out to other organizations to get their children involved with more organizations than us as mothers. Because we want to be able to do it all on our own. We want that invisible, what y'all called it, the participation trophy. We want that trophy on our mantle. And the problem is that we're not willing to relinquish that type of control. Where you see a father will take his daughter, like my daughter's in karate right now. She's doing all different types of stuff concerning emotional intelligence, because that's really what the purpose is, to be able to have self-control. But a father will do that. A mother, she gonna put him on a football field, then she gonna put him in basketball, and that's about it. No, you can't go over there. You can't be taught by that man. We always want to have that participation trophy. Men don't do that. Fathers don't do that.
It's that competition to go back into the topic. You know what I'm saying? You ever notice that even from back then with the anything you can do, you know what I'm saying? I want to put it out this way though, but if you ever notice, it always been the women trying to compete with the men. That's just what it been. I think even feminism kind of set that up too for that. Because like, think about it the other way. Why would a man have to compete with a woman? Like, think about it. Why would he? Man, your nails ain't. You know what I'm saying? Or you know what I'm saying? They just wouldn't do that. I think it's naturally like how the world is. They just made it to where that's why they want men and women to be equal so bad. You know what I'm saying? So that's where the competitiveness come from. And now I can raise my kid. Nobody never said who raised kids better, anyways. But it always seemed somehow competition got to be in there. I never understood. That's weird. I don't know.
Well,
Competition create divide.
I'm up here because she got a lot to say.
Competition create divide. So when you divide something, somebody got to be better, and to be better, you got to compete and to outdo the other person. Versus collaboration. Cooperation is the key we should be looking for, not competition.
Right.
Especially on the family.
Yeah.
And can I make this last commentary concerning the comment section? I ain't gonna say nothing else concerning the comment section.
So keep do your thing.
It's not a self-fulfilling prophecy, and you spelled that wrong. It's the idea that when you go through something and you grow through something, you teach others. So I fell down enough and hit my ass and skinned my knees enough to know that I can teach others that fathers are important. I've been selfish enough to know that fathers are important. I was raised by somebody selfish enough to know that fathers are important. So I can only speak on what I know, but human experience, that can be taught as well. So it's not self-fulfilling. It's me falling down enough, arguing enough, not understanding enough to be able to teach others. You know what I'm saying? I know I said be able twice because I'm over here smoking, but you know.
You said that's why she talking about. But I'm gonna address what Midnight just said.
That's what you. Now you gonna change your name from G.I. Jane to Mary Jane.
And to what Midnight just said, he said, "Will a father be able to teach a daughter?" And I said, "No, but he would ask questions." Far as with the past stuff, you know what I mean. In order for when that time comes, he might have one daughter. When a woman, when a child or daughter goes through those moments, he don't know. So when he don't know something, what a man would do, we would ask questions because we don't know. We want to know. Now, the next time, if he do have another daughter or something, he would know exactly what to do because you gain that information. Because I have a daughter. My daughter's 18 now. And at the time, her mom, me and her mom have, separated or whatever. But my daughter, that was that time of the month. I didn't know, but by me knowing, I didn't know at the time, but I went and asked for that information. And so now when that time comes, my daughter, she needs something, I know exactly what to go get her. You know what I'm saying? So we learn things. All men have to learn things. Everything a man don't know about a girl. We learn as we go. We learn by trial and error. A lot of times, a lot of men. I mean, I know I do. I mean, I can't speak on everybody.
I know he wanted to make it. That's how you know they feminists. He wanted to make it so even, so bad. But no, No, I actually explained it, but I guess what I said got overheard. I guess I don't know. I explained why a woman can't do it unless she, because think about it this way. Because majority of the time, if women want to be feminine, how would they be possible to even do it? If that's what they want to be, if that's what their nature's supposed to be, is feminine, right? So how would they even be able to show that? You know what I'm saying? Unless they have to be masculine.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
She would have to
Yeah.
conform to being masculine.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. A dude can stay masculine, right, and still be able to bring both of them up. You know what I'm saying? Because his daughter gonna learn how to respect masculinity, and which gonna automatically force her to be feminine, right? You know what I'm saying? It's opposite. It's opposites all the time. And then the father can just automatically teach his son how to be masculine. That's just all it is. You know what I'm saying? That's the best way I can think about it in that way.
Because men reach out more, like you and like BK said. Men reach out more. If men don't know the answer to something, they gonna go find the answer. And sometimes they don't know the answer, so they say, "I don't know." Let
That's
me
all.
go find it.
Because man, we are solution, we are
I swear
problem
she
solvers.
purposely not trying to understand me. This is
Yeah.
crazy.
And us as
Yeah.
women,
I
See,
can't let her give me a headache today. But I just said, if you being masculine, the woman is automatically going to be feminine. He don't have to teach it. Because if she
right.
automatically
We don't have
submitted
to.
to, or if the daughter, even the daughter going to submit to her father, that's automatically going to force her to be feminine. He don't have to teach it. Because he going to show
Right.
her to respect masculinity or man in general. That's just how it is. It don't work the opposite way.
See, with men, and I say this, and I can speak for me by me raising my daughter.
She
So,
trying to
thank
make it
you.
fit
So,
so bad. It's so funny.
can I give an example right quick? Can I give an
yeah,
example?
go ahead.
She said he gonna
Being
automatically
raised,
be masculine because she.
being raised
All
by
right,
my
go ahead.
bio dad, and I had a stepmom, but my stepmom did not talk to me that much when I was growing up. My dad primarily taught. He taught me he taught me to be feminine by saying, by 6 o'clock p.m. before I get home from work, I want you to clean the dishes. I want you to have dinner prepared. I need you to go and vacuum all the rooms. I need you to go ahead and do the laundry. I need all this done before 6 p.m.
Mm.
Well, she don't want to understand it that way. She don't want it to. This is funny to me, though. This look how deep feminism. I think they did say they support feminism or whatever, though. But this is it's paying off for sure. They want men and women to be equal so bad. They do. It just don't work, man. Reality gonna hit one day, and it's you can't stop biology. You can't.
Yeah.
No matter
I'm
how
gonna
you
ask
want to think
that
about it.
question. I'm gonna answer that question for Hobo real quick. Hobo is like this. When I had my daughter, I knew there were some things that I couldn't teach my daughter. So what I did was I put certain women in my. I have two older sisters. So what I do is when my daughter has certain questions, I show her what feminine looked like. I can only show her what masculine looked like. When you say about a village, that was my village. So I knew that I can bring her around my sisters. So she's seen what feminine looked like, and she know what masculine looked like with me. So I can pretty much teach her, okay, this is the type of man that you want to have in your life. And my sisters them showed her what feminine looks like. So men tend to branch out and get resources. Sometimes women want to try to do it on their own. By the time a woman sometimes reach out for help with their son, sometimes it's a little bit too late because, as they say, some certain women want their son. It's basically their son boyfriend. Basically, they
Mm.
treat him as, oh, look at, it's not the way I want to word. That's not how I want to
Son
word.
husbands.
I wrote son husbands exactly. So by the time they get in their teens, a lot of time it's a little too late because now their sons are out there with Tyrone out on the corner. You know what I'm saying? If that makes sense, what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
I agree to that. I think the
Because
reason
Tyrone teaching them. Because Tyrone is the closest
right,
thing to him concerning any type of masculinity. And could
right.
mothers do that with sons? Do they do that with sons? Is the question, Midnight. Do they do that? Is there a plethora of women that do that concerning their sons? How many women you think from off of these TikTok streets do you believe would have came up here when Zeus was talking and said, oh, he just bragging. He don't do that for real in real life. I wouldn't take my son over there. How many do you think would have pushback hearing a man say that I'm going to go check on a 16-year-old boy that's not biologically mine because he needs guidance? Let's be real. Women
Not
can't
the
do that.
strong, independent ones. Nope.
Yeah. They say they
Some
got it.
that's that
I mean,
masculine.
I was
That's a masculine saying.
right. I was in a marriage, my ex-wife. I mean, you know what I mean? She had a son before I even came into the picture. And I had so much pushback against that, you know what I'm saying? It always, he want his dad. He want his dad. But at the same time, she didn't allow me to raise him. So she got the pushback. She did everything because sometimes women try to overcompensate for their dad not being into their lives. So little boys take advantage of their mom. So that's why when they grow up, they start taking advantage of the other women. So that's why I feel like they can't, a woman can do but so much. That's why I feel like they do need a man in their life,
The mama's
but the
boys.
right man.
That's
So
what got
I'm
mama,
gonna
mama's
say
boys.
the harsh truth, and I guess it's flat out. I'm just gonna flat out say it because I know this hurt all the feminists, right? Men and women will never be equal, ever. No matter how much we
No,
want to think it and feel like it's unfair and all this stuff, it just will never be. It will never be as much as they want to. Like if we ever dig back to the root of it, no matter we can imitate things, we can do all of that, but they would never be equal. Never. That's just the real truth. We can put our feelings in it. We can put all that stuff right, but it would never be that. We are two different type of people, man. We are two different.
I will say we are equal. So you peace standing up.
oh Lord,
I know I don't get pregnant.
Oh, well, do you peace standing up?
I don't have no period.
Well, hold on. Let me make them mad. Let me make the feminists mad. You actually do every single day because y'all sperm count changes every single day. Every single
yeah,
day y'all
mine.
have stomach cramps.
Mm,
So y'all technically do, but it hasn't been coined yet.
mm,
Because
But
the
we got
amount of testosterone y'all give off and the amount of the amount of estrogen that we give off once a month, y'all give off a huge amount of testosterone daily that
mhm,
triggers y'all bodies.
that's
mhm.
true. I agree with that.
It's just like
I
this, right?
value that's
The
what we.
nature of the difference is we view the world completely differently. That one thing between our legs make us view the world completely different.
Okay,
We you know what I'm saying? We see the world completely different. Men go getter. I mean, women go get too, but they rather be taken care of than go and conquer the world.
Yeah.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? We prepare to fight. Women don't prepare to fight as much as we do. They live in more of a fairy tale land, which is
Well,
fine.
their standards are higher than us, which is, I mean, it's expected. You know what I'm saying? It
Yeah.
gotta be like that. You gotta pick the
So
best.
we view the world completely different, and that's just my point. That's a basic. I bring it down from my understanding of the
that's
world.
it.
We view the world completely different.
Right.
Yeah, we do.
Even y'all brain sizes are bigger. Like people that say all these feminists that keep saying, "Well, we are equal." Why would you want to be equal to a woman? Why? Why don't you bask in the glory of being a woman? It is so
And we want to talk about
beautiful.
power. Power, that's the most powerful thing ever. They don't realize that the whole world caters to women. It's just how it's supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? Men are what's the word? We are what's the uh will you trash those in the trash? What's the word? We are uh I can't think of the word. Re- re- replaceable?
Irreplaceable.
No, it's
Dispensable?
another one. We are disposable. We
Oh,
disposable.
Oh yeah,
Okay, there you
disposable.
go.
My bad.
Yeah, that's what I meant to say.
Yeah,
Right there,
yeah, yeah.
we.
okay, I
But
got
that's just how it is. Because like even if you even look at it, like y'all the ones that create create life and stuff. We got to make sure we protect you. That's why you see a little bunch of men at war. You know what I'm saying? That's how the world grow is because of women. We need the women to be safe so they can create the babies. Why would we need them doing the same job as a man? You see what I'm saying? Like, I never got that. Like, really, the whole world is made, and it's made for the women. It's a man's
Exactly.
world, but it's made for the women.
Exactly. That's our
And
ass
it's
for the
crazy
women.
because that's what I mean about privileged people don't know that they're privileged. They just don't get it, and they the main ones that be crying. And that's gonna be crazy. And that's the reason why you hear so many men talking now, because they so used to not, having their way and all this stuff, but it's always been their way. But not as soon as some people having standards and all that stuff, now they feel it's not fair. But spoiled people just like that. When you spoiled and don't see what you really got in front of you, you're gonna complain about everything. You know what I'm saying? Until you gotta bring your own self from the bottom yourself. You know what I'm saying? When you get kicked out or something like that, you the one that you don't have nobody to sit there and help you out. You the one gotta live in your car and all that stuff and find a way to do it yourself. You don't got no support team to help you. You ain't got no government to help you. You ain't got nothing. All this stuff we got to figure out on our own. And people just don't see it. You know what I'm saying? Privileged people don't know they privilege. That's what I'm saying. It be the main ones crying. That's gonna be crazy to me.
Yeah. I just heard it on the live earlier. They say that, you know what I mean, because we speak it out on something, that means that we're, how they say, we have victim mentality. I said some do, but not all. You know what I mean? Because we speak on it, that means we're a victim. No, that means we're just speaking. You know what I'm saying? So I forgot what I was about to say. Yeah, I lost my train of thought just that
I
fast.
did
God,
that twice today in another live.
Women following after females that will never leave their man's side. I'm just saying.
Man,
They won't never leave their man's
they
side.
just don't get
They
it.
know
They
exactly
don't get
who
it.
they are.
Bistro, what's the deal? You're definitely allowed to complain about things. Nobody don't want to though. That's the world we gotta be in, man. We know our job on here. We not about to complain. Sure, what it look like if a man was to complain, man, this world be boo boo. We be done for. We been destroyed a whole long time ago.
Everybody
We are
laughing.
taught to suck it up and take it to the chest. This is how we is. That's how it's supposed to be. I'm pretty sure we need men that's like that. Imagine a police officer always complaining and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Sitting there, you wouldn't want that type of person. All of
right.
us have feelings, but we know how to handle it different ways. This is how it is, though. We don't have to. We shouldn't complain. That's why I be telling people to be more grateful. But some people be feeling like the whole world is supposed to be owed to them, even though it's already being given to them. But they feel like it should be owed to them. That's what I be meaning about people that don't see. They don't know what they got until it's gone and stuff. That's just how it is, because people just really spoiled and they don't really see what they got. That's what I'm saying. They don't take the time to acknowledge what they got because they so worried about them and their feelings all the time. That's just how it is. It's crazy. People need to wake up.
Yeah.
But kept
That's why I
understand my
say.
past.
What, TJ? What a certain tone.
You don't understand where I came from.
What you said?
You don't understand. I said, but Kev, you don't understand my past.
Exactly, boy. I almost booted you out the thing. Like, well, did I bring the wrong person in? Somebody that took over DJ phone. This ain't how he talk. He got too much power for that. Oh man.
Lord,
I ain't gonna
bro.
lie, this is a powerful panel right here though, man. I wish we had some more people that's like us though. I love it.
Um,
I
hey,
love
look,
it.
I turned away for a second. When I heard it, I was like, wait a minute. Did somebody just pop up here and I ain't see it?
Yeah.
And it's DJ.
Right, who was that?
No, I had to say
Somebody
it.
hacked the DJ cluster.
I had to say it. You know what I'm saying? It's just
Oh,
funny.
We
God.
can look.
True. We're not saying that one or the other is not important. That's why it's very
I
important
just
that
thought
we, men and women, are very important to
that's
both.
funny.
We need women and women need men.
Yeah.
I think,
There's no getting around it.
I don't mean to cut your BK. I think people just want to confuse themselves.
No, it's just some people
It's
actually, what
insane.
I noticed, some people just choose not to understand because, like I said, it's just a feeling. If you feel a certain way, you feel uncomfortable, you don't feel like what somebody's saying is right because it don't meet it don't meet your feelings, right? Some people just
Hmm.
rather not understand. They want to pick because, like, I really explained all this stuff I've been explaining, like literally. I was. Oh, hold up.
Somebody.
Oh. I don't know what the heck that noise was. But I just explained it. But some people, you will realize they choose, like, if it don't feel right to them, they're not going to feel like they don't feel like it's right. You know what I'm saying? So I explained it the best way I can in many different ways, and that was never my point. I don't get why that's what I said. When people listen to respond, that's just how you get. You ain't gonna get the straight up answer or the straight response to what I just gave out. It's gonna be a whole nother thing, or pick out a word that I said. Or what about this? What you mean by that? Or something like that. That's what. I've been doing this junk too long to recognize this junk. This junk is crazy, bro.
Yeah. I mean, and then you ain't really got to be out here long. All you have to do is listen.
Yeah.
Listen, and
Yes, it
then
took
you
me a
really,
minute because I had to learn the hard way a lot of.
I mean, I always like to listen to, I always knew that our culture and people had problems. So
Yeah.
then when I got up here, I wanted to listen so I can get a understanding before I even get into a conversation.
Yeah.
When something that I can't speak on, I get quiet so I can listen, so I can understand it. That's why I would never get into between the feminine and the masculine
Right.
until I did some research. I mean, we both all have similar things together, masculine and feminine. You know what I mean? It's just one chose to be stronger with the masculinity and one chose to be weaker with the feminine. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
So now that you see the other group, the other Y's and the T's and the W's, you know what I'm saying? They choose to degress their masculinity and increase their femininity.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So we all have similar things. One chooses to do more bigger than the other. So I mean, it is what it is.
Facts,
But I
Mr.
need a
P.
woman.
Right. Exactly.
I
P.
need either way. I need a woman. I'm not gonna lie to nobody. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna sit here and go back and forth with that woman.
I
That's
need a
just not. That's
wife.
just me.
I
Are you
need a
sure,
wife.
BK?
That
That's not.
part, Kev. Say that again. You need a what?
Sure, Kev. Sure, BK. Sure,
I
you
need a
sure need
woman. I
one?
need a
It's
wife.
2023.
That part.
Huh?
I've seen them selling some things online. I've seen them selling some new stuff. Do you think you need one?
I need a wife. I mean, you know what I mean?
No, don't
I
steal
don't.
it. Don't steal it.
Yeah,
Say no,
I
talking
need a
about.
woman. I mean, I need a woman. Like I said, I need a woman first. I need a woman first. Then we work towards getting married. Because you know what I'm saying. I want to vet first. I want to know who she is as a person, and vice versa. You know what I mean? I don't want to be. I want to be as somebody that I
So
can
that means you
like
want a
really
woman,
open
then
up
you're
to.
gonna need a wife. You know what I'm
So
saying?
let me ask you
Because
this.
anybody get a woman.
Let's
Well,
get spicy. So BK, what is
it's
your
just like,
first?
okay, hold on 1 second. It's just like, okay, think about this with the Bible verse, right? Because they do say,
Yeah,
I think that's what automatically made me think about that when you said the word need, right? It made me think about it. He who find a wife finds a good thing. It ain't say who found a woman, you know what I'm saying? Because there's plenty of women out here. That mean wife, meaning like wife traits, wife characteristics. Or I might have been the same words though. Wife, all that. Like that, it's a very good thing because it's gonna be. It's like a yin yang situation. You see what I'm saying?
I would like to
hmm
have a husband
It ain't
again.
about that paper. Paper ain't no mean wife. You know what I'm saying? It ain't the legal, oh, that mean wife. You know what I'm saying? I mean it like wife as in spiritual and mindset and all that stuff. That's wife.
that's it.
So
Yeah.
BK, let me ask you this. So
Wait,
what are
DJ,
your
I was
five
about to say what I
non-negotiables?
need. Wait a minute. I'm about to say what I need, DJ. Y'all said what y'all needed.
Okay, say your thing. Say your
Yeah,
piece.
All right,
I
even
would
Jane.
like to. I personally, I need a husband. I would like a husband, but my circumstances that I put myself in causes me to be more cautious, which means that I may never get married again. But I want spouses for my children.
Hmm,
So
okay.
so Jane, let me ask you since what are your five non-negotiables? What would you not tolerate in the next relationship?
Arguing, I would not tolerate that.
Mm,
Disagreeing is fine, but not arguing. So
mm,
bad communication. Bad hygiene.
mm,
Would not
mm.
tolerate that. Um,
When
and
was so I'm
someone
gonna ask I guess I asked some stuff then. I don't wanna
That's three.
ask me if it's too much TMI, right? So I'm about to say when was your last relationship?
my last relationship ended with a man because I date women.
Man, yeah, man, yeah.
My last relationship was when I was married. which was 6 years ago. That was the last time
Okay.
I've been with a man
'Cause
physically or in a relationship.
I only ask that because I feel like if you, I think you gonna change the way what you saying. The more you still said you was working on yourself on different things, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think I paid attention. Yeah, I paid attention a little bit. So I think the more you start understanding and working on yourself and all that, I think you're gonna change that though, because I was saying that too. It was like a lot of stuff. I used to be like, man, especially when stuff, I'm like, I'm about to go for white tea women because I was very hurt. You know what I'm saying, on my situation because all this stuff I was saying, I'm gonna go for this. I'm gonna go for maybe I'm gonna go across this. I was saying all type of stuff, right? Or I was like, man, ain't no good woman out here and all this stuff. I was saying it in my mind. I was even got to the point I started calling them bees and all that, right? But I think when I really literally, like, I don't think everybody really know what working on yourself is. And then in working on yourself, you realize you take a lot of sacrifices. It's a lot of discipline. It's a lot
Mm-hmm.
of changing your wants because a lot of time is wants where you picking a lot of our stuff from and start
Mm-hmm.
trading for the needs. So once I start, like I said, I had to understand myself. I see what I could tolerate. I realized that I had it. And all the stuff, when I talk about this accountability, when people really figure out what this accountability thing is, that means accountable for every last single thing and not blaming anything on it. Just like what I be talking about when I get triggered or when people get triggered in general, when I find myself getting triggered, right, that's more stuff I realize I have to work on. You know what I'm saying? So once I figure out and keep working on everything dealing with accountability, that's when I start changing my talking. Like, you know what? I know what I know what I want. I think another reason why we probably talk like that because I was talking like that too. Another reason why is, hold on real quick.
What? Why Kev doing what he doing? Go ahead, Jane. Finish up. What
Yeah,
you
finish
saying?
up. I was listening. It was at 3.
Liars. That's
Mm,
the self.
mm,
And someone that doesn't have peace. And someone without a.
Uh,
man.
So arguing, hygiene, liars, communication. You said.
Yeah, and then someone that does not have peace within already.
Mm.
yeah, but I want to finish real quick.
Yeah, go
But I'll
ahead.
just
Go ahead.
say,
Go ahead.
basically, the whole point of that is like after you did so much understanding within yourself and stuff, understanding your triggers, understanding like what more you need to work on, understanding the type having your standards and all that stuff. I think that's when it gets more easier. That's probably why it's taking me so long, even though I've been searching that hard. But you start realizing you really start figuring out what you really want or need. You can say that too, what you need and stuff, because like once you got your standards and stuff, you don't have to be scared of saying that I'm gonna watch out for an
Mm-hmm.
argument or all that stuff because you already know what to look out for just from talking to a person. You know what I'm saying? It's red flags that you already, because I didn't realize like I said, when I started working on myself and all that stuff, and then I start choosing peace, which I recommend for everybody, choose peace over everything. When I choose that
Mm-hmm.
and I realize all the stuff that can mess up my peace, I know what to look out for. That's why I be making the jokes about that sign stuff. The signs,
Mm-hmm.
I say my red flags because I'm not trying to date nobody in here. Like, I be watching out for people that's addicted to attention. So as soon as I see a piece of skin or something like that, I feel like that's you, whatever. It can be false thing, but I automatically exit off. If I see people showing their cleavage and all that, I'm good on that because that's gonna end up messing with my peace down the line, right? So
Mm-hmm.
attention, people that do the sign stuff. Even though everybody got their own definition, but I realize from my experience, every time people that do the signs, they lack accountability because they always blame their behaviors on a sign. Like, oh, I did this because of that. I'm freaky because I'm a Scorpio. I'm this because I'm not. No, I'm big on accountability, so I'm not gonna blame none of my traits on something else. That's another reason why I got something against signs. I know I'm not trying to trigger everybody, but I'm just saying my stuff situation from my point of view with how I look at things. Um, it's so much things. It's a few things though. But once you find out, I mean, you like I said, first you got to start with self and you setting your boundaries. And then once you find out, what all that is, then you gonna know what you want. You gonna really know what you want, and that's why I be more attracted to mindset than That's why I be loving when I hear women that say stuff about accountability, but then it goes deeper than that though. So, but then you know what I'm saying, then you wouldn't be really that. And I live with that is what it is type life anyways. You know, I live with that, you know, even if I do feel like I picked the best of the best because I'm picking off needs rather than wants now. I don't need no fat booty. I don't need none of this, you know, good look. I don't need all that stuff. You know, I would take a decent looking chick on, but I'm just saying I'm more on the mindset. But even if that don't work, you know, I still look at it like, you know what, I try best and maybe I gotta look better next time or make a better choice next time. But I'm not scared to lose the next person because I found so much within myself. I'm not scared to be alone. You know what I'm saying? I got that type of mindset now. So I'm not,
Right.
you know, it's all, but the more we work on ourselves, the more we gonna see that, you know, we're gonna make a better decision. That's just how it is.
I agree.
I'm
Still
somebody
risk.
that I'll take dating seriously when my kids are grown. And a lot of people be like, you hit the wall, but I'm a sapiosexual. I climax through my mind. So,
Mm.
you know, I
Yeah.
could be 60 years old and find, or the man that needs to be for me, that's paired for me, will find me. But as far as like me trying to date now, I'm too busy. I don't see how single moms actually have time to date, because that means I got to spend money for a babysitter. I got to trust a whole stranger. My parents ain't gonna watch these kids just to be watching them for me to go on no date. That's not how my parents operate. So when it comes down to it, I'm introducing my whole family, and then I'm asking my family to trust somebody that I barely know, and that's not something I'm going to be able to do. You know what I'm saying? So,
Well, that's where the part comes in, like Ken said. When you work on yourself, you'll find that trust can be a little bit easier, because then when you trust, that means you're vetting better. That means you're looking at the red flags a whole lot more. And then you be like, you know what? I already know I ain't gonna be able to trust this man, because you're there. You're healing. You're in the process. You're working on yourself. You know what I
right.
mean? A whole lot better. You can hear it before it even come at you.
Facts.
You
Let
know
me
what I
tell you,
mean?
Oh
BK.
yeah, I ain't gonna. Oh,
I tried. I tried to talk to somebody. We talked for almost 2 years, and I'm more observant now. Before, it used to be like, oh, I'm just so happy. You know, this person seemed like a good
Mm-hmm.
person. He was giving me all this simp behavior. And I hit up
Mm-hmm.
somebody that was
Mm-hmm.
personal to me, and I said, I've been down this road before. Everything is perfect. Everything I say he like, everything I've done, he want to do again, or he don't have any type of pushback. He doesn't have conversation that's real. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it took me almost 2 years to find out that this person is fraud. This person puts his hands on women. This person doesn't know how to be consistent. And I had to step back. So now I'm more observant. I thank my kids for that as well, because before, you know, I used to be off the chain.
So
Right.
hold up. So you say he was a simp because of the he was agreeable.
He was a liar. And I couldn't have found that out unless I looked at the behavior. Because sometimes
Mm-hmm.
you have to observe for a long time. Because narcissists, that word they like to use up here, but don't know the definition, because there's plenty of narcissists out here and there's many
Ain't it?
definitions to them.
Ain't
He
it?
hid that for so long, but as the time went on, and I seen him in different elements. When he went out and he got drunk, I seen the true person come out during that time. All these truths that was coming out, but then, you know what I'm saying, the facade kind of went away. It took 2 years. If I would have advanced and said, yeah, let's go ahead and date after 6 months, then I would have been met with all sorts of stuff. He wanted me to pick up and move, and moving too fast. And I
Yeah.
would be cautious meeting somebody else's kids. Therefore, he never met them, but he always asked. Those are red flags. That's simp behavior.
Facts.
oh, here go another one though. I forgot. Now you made me think about another one. This one of my main ones. That's how I really know who I'm gonna pick. I do make judgments off of and that's why I sit back and listen to a lot of these lies. I see what the people I encounter and stuff. The way people handle their emotions. That's what it's a you know what? It's a reason why I teach all these things that or talk about all these three things, and it's literally the three things that I look for in my woman too, and the people I kick it with. So that emotional control, that junk is serious. If I
Yeah.
catch it when I catch it, it's automatically a turn off though. Depending on how a woman react to certain things, if they want to be petty with different certain situations, they want to play this match energy stuff. That's another way, and that's why I said when I prioritize peace, I realize all my red flags. That's gonna
Mm-hmm.
mess me up because if you don't know how to hold your tongue and you want to prolong a situation that shouldn't be prolonged and stuff because you in your feelings and all that stuff, I can't
Yeah.
do it. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm the type that I'm trying to avoid confrontation before I even get into a situation unless I have to. You know what I'm saying? Some people
Facts.
be saying that I have to, and they the ones that still provoking it. Because I had a lot about that provoke, preventing, and protection, and people don't know what that means. Oh, I'm just protecting, but then again, you in this person's face and saying, "I dare you to do this." That's provoking. That's not
Yeah.
protecting. So
Exactly.
yeah, the way you handle it, the way I see a chick handle their or even the people's my dude too, the way they handle their emotions, or the way, like, especially if they get mad, if they want to stay mad and don't want to look at the, because I done became so optimistic, I don't even know if I can get with a person that's, they got a pessimistic mentality that I can't say, that we gonna try to make it through, even though we can have pessimistic moments sometimes, maybe. But if you just like, nah, that's not gonna work, I gotta keep on uplifting you every time, I just can't do that. That's gonna drag me down. So I need somebody, and I know I probably made my pick even harder because I done advanced so much and better my life so much. But it is what it is, because I got in my mindset that I'm good with, if I have to be alone. I don't, because I'm serious about that, because I'm gonna feel wrong. I'm gonna feel dumb if I know what to look out for and still win it and try to make it work. You know what I'm saying? That's why I had one time when I was saying that I realized that I was only sexually attracted to this one chick I was talking to like some months ago, and I had to be real with myself after I had my cloud out my head, like, dang, you know what I'm saying? I had that because she was the feminine voice was giving me and all that stuff. But I had to be real with myself, like, though, if I get with this, and I know the intentions is we gonna try to end up sleeping with each other or something like that, even though we trying to act like it and all. So I'm like, I done been with a few enough chicks to know if what's about to happen after that. So I said I'm not gonna even play myself. So I was real. First I was gonna ghost her, but I was real and I was like, you know what? I know that I'm more, and I was real. I said I'm more sexually attracted to you than anything. You already don't believe in God. I do. That's one big major thing. Not saying everybody got to believe, but it's just the stuff that come behind people that just don't. Because some people different ways, but it's the stuff she was saying. It just seemed like she ain't had no type of control. She was living that react to your emotions type stuff. If you feel a certain way, do this, and there's like so much stuff. I'm like, man, I'm not living that type of lifestyle because I'm big on control. You know what I'm saying? You big on just living it up. But her voice was getting to me, the feminine in the mug, all this stuff. Like I'm like, no, that's just me being horny. That's not me liking her. You know what I'm saying? So I had to be real, because if I would have went with that, I would have been, you know what I'm saying? I would have been sitting there, that's what I say. I be meaning about people that missing red flags because of they being horn dogs and all that. That's one of the main things, the reason why people miss red flags. So I had to, that night, I probably couldn't control myself. But when I woke up that morning, when I woke up, I was like, you know what? I'm sexually attracted to you, and I'm not gonna even do this. And she was like, still like, you want to meet? I still want to meet up. Later if you change your mind. But I was like, nah. So that's what I'm saying.
Got you, nigga. Be married by now. You'll be a married man.
Yeah, I gotta know my attention. I know what I want though.
Yeah. And I feel you, kid.
He probably
Yeah.
would have been a single dad up here.
Man.
So I feel you, because I'll tell you one thing. I had this thing for I had a crush on one, and I was like, I'm gonna tell her. But I sit back and I watch. I watched for months, and I was like, I'm gonna say something to her. I'm gonna say something to her. And right when I was getting ready to say something to her, something popped off, and I seen how she controlled her emotions. I was like, oh, nope, can't deal with that. You know what I mean? And normally me, I'd have went ahead and hit the inbox. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, nah,
Just
good
give it
thing I
some
did.
Down
time.
in the DM.
You
Put
know
her
what I mean?
down.
Because I avoided a whole lot of trouble. And then
Facts.
she's on live talking about her business. I'm sitting here like, oh my God, what she like to suck on. I'm like, oh no,
Oh,
nope, 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 can't do that.
give it some
Can't do
time. That's where vetting come
that.
in at.
Yeah, yes, sir. I'm telling you, being that doing that, not being with somebody in the last 3 years, man, shoot,
So
Open your
that's
BK,
a
eyes. You
lot,
see
man.
all type of stuff.
BK,
Man,
you
I
didn't
see
answer
a
your
lot.
red flags.
My red flags,
Yeah.
or what
Your non-negotiables, things that you will not
my
compromise.
my non-negotiable, un m- emotional. How can I say it? I'm gonna say this in another way. When she's
Unstable.
not emotional available.
Oh,
Mm.
When she's not emotional available, that's off the table. When
mm.
she isn't um She have to smell good. She definitely got to smell good. Um,
What
yeah, she.
that even should have been up there. That's gonna
Yo,
be a
Kev.
normal. What the heck?
Kev, no, it ain't. No, it's not
That's I
normal.
said should be. That's what's said.
No, no.
That's an automatic no.
Mm. And she got to be intelligent.
Oh yeah, never
She,
mind.
what I mean?
I'll
We
take a
both
couple.
got to be able to have a conversation. You know what I mean? I can't be the only one giving a conversation. You know what I
Facts.
mean? I know women say men are like that, but there are some women out here that just can't hold a conversation. Um, she got to be trustworthy. That's non-negotiable.
Right.
You know what I mean? I mean, it's so many others. I mean, that I could go on and on and on about. But I'm just give you those few right there. But it goes on. Communication is very key. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? And she got to be able to talk. Not talk, 100 miles per hour a minute, and I'm not getting understanding it, but it's about, we can be able to have a conversation together. I don't have to come up with a topic. I don't have to, come up with an application that we got to go word for word, fill out an application type thing.
Right.
I don't, I don't want to ask you different questions. It should be a conversation where we can talk about everything,
So kids
so
don't matter. Married before it don't matter.
nah, nah.
Okay.
Mm.
Nah, because every female that I dated had kids. I don't mind a woman with kids. I don't.
Make sure you ain't got no crazy baby daddy.
Disrespectful kids. Respectful.
Yeah, that baby daddy thing is crazy.
Why
I
everybody
listen.
be thinking the baby daddy be? Well, that's because it happens more than
Because the
often.
average is right. I'm about to say
That baby
uh,
daddy shit.
it
I never
might
been
not.
on
I
We
that
never.
shit
can't say
before.
all because I'm just saying that's a rare thing. But most of the time, yeah, you got that
I,
one
I,
that's like you ain't about to. I dare your dad to touch my kid. You know what I'm saying?
I never had that problem with none of my exes. The women that I dated with kids, I never had that problem with their baby daddies.
Well,
Hmm.
have you ever dated someone that they introduce? Because I know I introduce. I have to introduce my child's father to whoever I'm dating.
I
That's
met
rare.
my ex. Yes, I met his dad. Me and him. Matter of fact, me and him are cool today. Um, my ex before my ex wife, I met her kid's father, and me and her kid's father went to school together, so we was all cool. So yeah, you know what I mean, and they know the type of guy that I was, who I was, and how I'm very protective of. Even they're not mine, I'm very protective of I'm very protective of somebody's child, and I wouldn't dare put nobody's child in harm's way because I treat their child just like they're mine. And I have two older kids as my own. Then I have a 10. Just matter of fact, my son just turned 10, and biologically he's mine. But
That's
yeah,
good right there. Good. Well, you come peaceful anyway. From what we can tell on you, you come peacefully. So it'll be hard for somebody to come at you and
Peace.
that they are completely immature.
yeah.
I
I
come in
mean,
peace. Oh,
don't get me wrong. At first, you know what I'm saying. At first, I have one. I walked away, but you know what I'm saying, only because I didn't want the drama. Because I know at the time I wasn't emotionally intelligent. I was off the handle, so
oh
I had to
my.
walk away. You know what I mean? I walked away from it because I didn't want that drama. He didn't know who I was, and I didn't know who he was. But I knew my attitude. I knew that my attitude would put me in prison.
Oh my.
So
Better
I had to
count.
walk away from that situation.
For me, guy. The deal, my brother. Let's go. Let's go.
Um,
Let's go, ladies and gentlemen. How is everybody doing tonight? I have to address everybody first. How is
Blessed.
everybody doing?
Doing
Blessed.
Better
great.
than good.
I'd like to answer some of the questions. You guys are talking about a good topic. I've just been here listening to what you guys have been talking. It's a pretty decent conversation. Everybody has their own ways of looking at things. Do what works with you. Stop being in other people's pocket. Stop worrying about everybody else and get your shit together before you start pointing fingers. So If you don't mind, I'd like to answer some of these questions, Kevin, if that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we can start with team segregation, team unity, and why. Segregation, some people deserve to be segregated and some people deserve to be in unity. It all depends on who's involved in this group. You don't want no
Mm-hmm.
toxic people in your circle. So there's got to be some rules and some group norms where everybody has a consensus and follows it. Because if people are not on the same page, all it takes is one bad apple to fuck everything up.
Mm.
Okay, so would you recommend looking at differences more or similarities more? If you look at the differences, you're starting things negatively, and you're going to look for more differences to validate your negative, your the way you started it.
Facts.
So if you
Facts.
start positively and you look for the comments, the answers might be in the comments. So
Facts.
if you look for positivity, you will look for validation to give positivity what it deserves. And if you start with the bullshit, you're gonna find more bullshit to make sure that that bullshit continues to last. So that's toxic behavior when you look at the differences first.
Facts. Okay. That's facts. I hear you. There you go.
So
I think you answered that
what's the last question? Is being competitive? I don't see the whole thing.
Is being competitive more helpful or harmful nowadays?
Well, it's a combination of both. You have to, excuse me. Nothing has
Don't forget I
changed.
said nowadays at the end too.
Well,
That's a
before,
general.
now, and the future, it's never going to change the fact that we have to pick and choose our battles. You understand what I'm saying? There are some things that you have to be competitive with, and there are some things that you don't want to be competitive with. But the best competition is the competition with yourself, so that you can be
Mm-hmm.
better tomorrow than the person that you was today. You
Right.
know, so be careful with that too,
So I'm gonna do the
because
same thing I did with Jane. So you can get to what I was meaning about that. So do you think a
okay,
lot of people is competing with themselves?
I think a lot of people are not competing with themselves. I think
There
people
we
are
go. We
competing
get to
more
it.
with the external facade. There's a difference between a facade and being ethical. Ethical is more about, the how you feel, and
Mm-hmm.
etiquette is more about putting a facade, for
Mm-hmm.
everybody else, keeping up with the
Fact.
Joneses, making sure that you look like you fit in a place. If you have to go out of your way to fit in a certain criteria or a certain place, you don't belong there.
Fact.
Facts.
But a lot of people work so hard to fit in. We try so hard to be different that we end up doing it the same freaking way, and we end up doing the same shit.
That is absolutely true.
Preach.
So at the end of the day, do what's best for you, pass it forward, be grateful for what you have, because if you don't, the universe will stop giving you these blessings and pass you for somebody else that actually believes. So stop talking
Exactly.
shit, because the universe is listening. And if you don't practice what you preach, then you create an imbalance, and the universe shies away from you and doesn't believe you anymore, and will give you the blessing to somebody else. And that's all I got, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay. 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 And we
Amen.
got 10 minutes left too, because I gotta make sure I pay attention to this time.
Yeah, I do agree with that. You
Mhm.
know, you got to practice what you know what I mean? If you say you healing or you in the process, you got to heal. You got to do exactly what you preach. You
Mm-hmm.
can't come up here and say I'm healed, and then as soon as somebody says something you don't like, then here we go. Here go an argument. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? So
I,
yeah,
I
I
want to make
do
that a
agree with
topic too, because I hear people say that word too many times. I want to say, what are you doing? That's gonna be something like that. What are you doing to heal? What are you currently doing since you saying you healing? Like, what is
That,
the what is
that's
what
a
is the
that's
things? What are you getting out of it?
That's a
All that
good
stuff.
topic. That's a good
Yeah, I
topic
think I'm gonna make
because
that one.
what it is that if you go into 50 rooms, they all sound the same, and
that.
they run to a place where they reach their capacity as far as how much they could talk about, because all they're doing is repeating what everybody else is saying. So you could only repeat as much as you could retain. If you're not adding nothing to it, if you're not figuring it out, if you're not dissecting it, looking up a word or bringing something to the table, all you're doing
Right.
is repeating misguided enabled information that's worthless.
Exactly. That's why I tell a lot of people right off the bat, hey, I'm still working on me. I ain't healed. I'm still working on me.
Mhm.
Every single day I get at my table. Some days I get on live and just listen for a minute. And I'm like, man, I need to get off for a second. And I start reading. I sit at my table half of the time just reading. You know what I mean? Looking up different. I hear people say a word. I'm like, damn, what that mean? I look it up just to get the information.
Sir,
So
Thanks.
then I can probably use it.
can I ask you a
Go ahead.
question, sir? Can you just get into what does reading do for you as a individual? What does reading do for you?
What reading does for me, it opens up something that I personally try to hide from myself. So when I read books like right, just like Saturday, I got the Shadow Work book. Just got it. You know what I'm saying? And I just done half of the book already. And then I got my boy Wolfgang. I got his book. I had it on my Kindle, but I got the paperback. Men's with Standards. I'm reading that book. So you know what I mean. Then I go on my phone. I got other books that I'm starting to read. The affirmations, the 369 book. You know what I mean. It's a lot of things that I read. Just sit here and like, dang, that can. You know, I see where that is in my life, and I can't look at nobody else. So I can only sweep around my door, get myself together before I can say. And I tell anybody, if you really trying to process, you really trying to heal, go to counseling. Find out where something deep in you that has been dormant for years. Work on you first. Because, you know, we all talk about this. And I got to hold myself accountable. I can't come on the live and say, you need to go to counseling, go to counseling, go to counseling. And then going, you know what I'm saying? So there's ways that we can all work on. That's what books do for me. And I can tell you, for me, speaking on these lives, I can't say anything if I'm not doing the work.
Can I
You know what I
add
That's
mean?
more
bad
books
leadership.
to your repertoire?
Facts.
Can I add some more to it?
Hey,
Yeah.
you sure can.
Oh,
Check
please,
this.
please.
My
Put
favorite
that in my
book
book.
of all times, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck.
Oh, I
It's a
just got
great
that.
read.
I
Let
heard
that
that.
go. Yes, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck is that is one of the best books, and I reread that.
You read the real book? I had heard it on the audio.
Yeah, I've read the real book.
And,
Let That Shit Go. That's another one. That's a new one, but it's an international bestseller.
mhm.
There's some more. Hold on. The Power of Focus. They have a new version out after the pandemic because they had the old version, but now it speaks about, the mind in the pandemic. And then my last one, and I'm gonna be quiet, is The Power of the Subconscious Mind. Those
Mm,
books, I reread
I
those
heard that.
consistent basis, and I do 6 hours of reading a day. I have to push that in, to
exactly.
get my mind right for this
That,
world.
That's
that is
crazy.
that's
Powerful
a
book.
beautiful thing. I want to share something with you guys. Um, if we had 12 people up here, there would be 12 different ways of doing things, of saying things, of understanding things, and expressing things because we all do things differently, right? It doesn't mean that we're wrong in what we do, but the thing
Right.
is that you have to keep going through different things. You might have to see two different types of therapists. You might have to do reading. You might have to do exercise. There's so many things out there that you should be doing. What you're
True.
looking for is the right formula, the right
Hmm.
combination of things that are going to put you in a better place, whether it's
Right.
good friends, letting somebody go, growing, moving forward, enjoying nature, putting your feet on the grass. There's just so much work to do. And there is no one way of doing things. It takes a
True.
combination of
It
things.
does.
And everybody has a different DNA or portfolio when it comes to that. Whatever I did for
Mhm.
my trauma is not going to work for everybody else. But if you read, you write, you pray, you exercise, you have good conversations, you make a lot of changes in a lot of places, I guarantee you that you will expedite this. The thing is, stop listening to people that are telling you one way of doing things. If you listen to the people in this panel, they're not giving you one book. They're giving you more than one book. They're giving you options. There's different things that you learn from. So I appreciate you guys
So
for
I got a
giving
question
more than
then.
one answer. You know what I'm saying?
I got a question
Right.
then. How can a one person teach multiple ways if all they know is just their way? I think
The,
don't you
you, 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 you
don't the
can't.
advice to be listen to everybody?
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing, Kevin. And I'll switch it up and I'll bring it right back. You don't have to go through every single hardship in life. Not every single one. You understand? You try to learn as much as you can by going through it. They say that the greatest lesson in life is going through it. But you don't have time to be 100 years old and go through every single lesson in life. Some of
Right.
these lessons you have to learn from somebody else's mistakes. Some of these lessons you
Right.
have to learn from reading, writing, and experiencing different things. So
Yeah.
bringing it back, you could
Did
only
you get what I
do
was meaning though?
yeah, but you could only do what you know, Kevin.
That's all I was getting to because you threw me off. You said don't listen to a person that only teach one way,
Don't
but that's
don't
they
don't
only
don't
way.
listen. Don't listen. Yeah, but don't just. I'm not saying don't listen to them. That's not the only thing to consider. Consider
Okay, I
what they're
got you. I feel you.
saying,
Okay, I
and,
got you.
and make sure that you visit other avenues. Make sure that you
Facts.
visit other ways, because it might take more than one way, maybe 3 or 4 ways to do this. So all I'm saying is don't grab something and be like, oh, that's it. No, it's not it, because it's only going to take you but so far. What's next? Level 2, level 3. There's levels to this. You understand what I'm saying? And everybody seems to be on the basic level. Don't
Hmm.
sell yourself short. Be open-minded to everything that's out there, and then pick the right combination that works for you. That's what I'm saying. You know?
That's fact.
I would recommend in reading, read by topic, not by just by the books. So if you're studying a topic for the year, like say you're just starting reading, you start reading on yourself. If you're reading just development books for the first year, that's fine. Then you can go on leadership or finance or whatever. So I would study topics versus just books to books to books to books to books, because not one book gonna give you every information. So you want at least 4 or 5, maybe 6 on one topic.
Hey, listen. Hey,
And
I
next
agree with
topic,
you on that. I do agree
next
with you
topic.
on that. You know what I mean? One thing that, Kev suggested a book to me, The Atomic Habits. You know what I'm saying? So I'm very open to everybody's suggestion about books. Because I'm 47. I don't know everything. You know what I mean? I'm trying to learn. I'm trying to get the knowledge that people say, hey, try this book. It may work. You know what I mean? I don't have a problem with trying to learn different things. Even it may not be, it might be just a book like, okay, I enjoyed it. I may not get nothing out of it. It's the point about me getting something out of it. And I don't mind getting finance books. You know what I mean? 'Cause I know the finance will help. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So to me, I never tell nobody I try not to tell nobody one way. You know what I mean? I say, hey, go fishing, go walking. You know what I mean? And I love
Yeah.
fishing. Thing that I love.
Well, I
You know, I
have a
can't say that too much.
suggestion for one way that a lot of people do need to do things, especially what I've been seeing on this app, disconnecting from everybody. A lot of
Mm.
people out here just need to
You got
sit by themselves and
The,
face their own shadows, because you can't say that you're healing until you get up and you say, I don't have anybody else to call but myself and my higher source. I don't have anything else to do but to work on me today. I got to be selfish because I've been giving, giving, giving. And really, I'm not giving, I'm hindering other people's growth. And I don't
Hmm.
even know how to grow myself. So a lot of people need to climb in their closet and sit there and listen to all the things in their mind that's going and going and going, and find that peace. Because once you say that you're healed, that means that your journey is over. You shouldn't even be talking on the app if you healed. You should stay
right.
healing, because it's a choice every day. Just like getting up and saying, I'm happy. It is a choice. You choose to be happy. You choose to be upset. You choose to heal.
I agree with that
I'm healed and I'm
100%.
in toxic lives.
The gentleman that was talking about, there is no real book out there that can give you all the ways. I get that. There's no such thing as a book that can give you all the ways to do it. But there is a book called Live Above the Norm that will give you 15 different perspectives on what to improve on. This book right here will help you improve in many different areas, not just one: relationships, energy, motivation, awareness, leadership, and so on. So look this book up, Live Above the Norm. I put a lot of work into this book. You understand what I'm saying? So this is 3 years of writing it and 10 years of putting it together, just like for people like me and you that understand struggle and want to put themselves in the best possible position. Because if you don't love yourself first, you can't possibly pour into other people's cups, because you will be draining yourself on a daily basis. So this is all about making yourself the best person available so that you can create legacies, generational worth, and pass it forward. Live above the norm, ladies and gentlemen.
And that's
Can,
your book. Where can we
can,
find that book?
This is my book, and that would be me.
And where,
hey, my
and where
boy
we can find
suited.
that book at?
You can find this book on every outlet. In Amazon, you can get
I
it
was
in
just about to say
hardcover,
Amazon. I'll probably get it right now then.
hardcover, soft cover, and the ebook. The ebook is $10, so it's
I need one with your
not
signature
hard.
on it.
Oh, I'll go personally. I'm going to be doing something over there in Detroit, Kev. So again, not that I'm promoting the book, but the
Do
topic
your
was
thing. What the heck?
it's not to promote the book.
We family.
It's to
Promote it.
give. I want to give people so many different ways, so many different perspectives, so that you can stop thinking linear and start thinking a little bit more three-dimensional, outside the box. This book will help you assess your life on where you at right now. You know what I'm saying? It talks about judgment, talks about relationship maintenance, loving yourself first, and a lot of other things. So read the introduction. If you like what you see, go forward. If you have any questions, there's a way to contact me and we could have a one-on-one. But this is a very serious book.
Said live above the norm.
Live Above the Norm. That's
Okay,
the
let's
name of the
see.
book.
I might check it on Amazon.
Yes, please
Yeah,
promote because I'm definitely gonna get that because I just love the title in general.
Thank
Right.
you. Thank you.
me too.
So
That
yeah,
right, that
it's
caught my attention.
so think about it, man. We're not sheep, you know what I'm saying? We're supposed to be leaders. And we got this big discord going on right now between men and women because women will say, men are like this, men will say, women are like this. But
I'm
a
about
lot
to
of
say
those
it's a
things
dude named
are
Anthony, but I
human.
forgot your real name.
No, that's my name.
I
Anthony
said somebody
Manzanet.
stole your book, man.
No,
It was
that is
already
my
coming in the search thing before. I was like, oh yeah, I forgot his name is Anthony.
Right.
It's just Ant.
if you look up my name, you get a backstory of what I've been through, so you can see that this ain't a joke. You know what I'm saying? I've been through it, and my name has been thrown in the mud, and I've been through
Oh,
serious
there you
bullshit.
go.
You know what I'm
This
saying?
your,
And
this your first
I'm
book?
ready for that
I'm
smoke.
about to get it right now, man. I
This your
gotta
first book, sir?
support.
What did you say? I'm sorry.
This your first book?
This is my first book, the book of a series of 4 books. The next book is going to be called Love You. P.S. I Love Me, which is the prequel to this book.
Wait a
I'm
minute,
writing
I've
the.
seen that.
Me too. I know
I've
I've
seen
seen it.
that book.
This book.
No, P.S. I Love Me.
Well, the P.S. I Love Me is a show that I did on YouTube a
Well,
while
somebody
ago.
that stole your book, child, because somebody it was in
It is possible that there are same titles in books. That is very possible because just looking for the name of this book, I ran across very similar titles as well. So I don't doubt that something out there doesn't exist. But I'm going to go ahead and write the prequel to this book, and then the third one will be Ghettonomics, and the fourth one will be Total Wealth Management. So it's a series of 4 books that are coming out.
Ghettonomics. That
Give me the
sounds
title of that book again.
Live Above the Norm.
Said
Oh, okay.
got the Kindle, the hardcover, and the
Yeah,
paperback.
and that's why I'm telling you about this book because I listened to what you guys are talking about. And the truth of the matter is that we're really not going to get through life until you realize that the same answers that we're looking for are already inside of us. We shouldn't have to be going outside of ourselves to get the answers that are already inside of us.
Right.
Facts.
I don't. I definitely do go to counseling. I mean, I do it virtual, but I mean, I do that at least twice a week. You know what I mean? And I also read. You know what I mean? I got to do my reading. Sometimes I don't even turn my TV on, but when I just want to unwind and really focus and think, I do turn my TV on. But hey, that's just me. And, sometimes I do go fishing. So I don't just sit and just read because my process is not like everybody else's process.
right.
You know what I mean? I got to have a little sound so I can sit and think and meditate on what I've read. You know what I mean? So I can read all day long and be like, wait a minute, I don't get it. So I had to go back and reread. So my learning curve is not like most learning curves. You know what I'm saying? So, but I still read. I still try to listen to other people's opinion, but I know what live to stay out of because I know if it's not benefiting to my mindset and to where I think, I don't have no parts of it because a lot of nonsense is not good.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Fishing is good and crabbing. That's a good way to just chill.
It is. It is. I try to get back one with nature. You know what I'm saying, and get back one with myself. You know what I mean? Because over time, you sometimes we do lose ourselves. So I'm trying to get back to me. You know what I mean? And this is one way that I do. You know what I mean? I can't speak for everybody. I can only speak for me. You know what I mean? Everybody have their own preference. My preference is reading, watching TV, and going fishing. That's my thing.
All right.
You know what I mean?
For me
That's
to
I
why I
got
do
the
say
that.
hardcover one. I had to get the hardcover one.
Yeah, because I
I
can't do
definitely.
ebooks because it bothers my eyes. I don't know. It feels like I'm on social media when I'm doing ebook. I have to buy the hard copies because I like flipping through the pages to it, and I like smelling books. I'm weird.
I
I
think
No,
would
hard
have
you
got
ain't
the
the
copy.
only one.
ebook,
You're not.
but this is
You,
Hormiga, so I had to get it.
yeah, you're not the only one. A lot of people like the smell of a fresh book. Some people like the smell
I
of
do.
gasoline. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's
Don't
different.
mind.
I
Hey,
like the hard.
I love
I
smell
like
of a fresh book and fresh cut wood and grass.
Oh,
Them
you
the three
scared me. I
things
thought
that
you
I
about to
love.
say something.
I'm building a library in my
What
in my
smell
Hell
basement.
like
no.
fresh
Dealing
cut
with
wood?
you, I
Pause.
thought you about to say something.
I like
I
uh,
just,
books. I like
Hey,
uh,
I
oh
don't know what
man.
you
I like
about to
ebook
say.
because you can look up the word right away. Like certain words you don't know. I like when I'm reading and there's a word I don't know. I just drag over it and just give you the meaning right away. Versus
Yeah.
in the hard book you gotta look for it, which I love the hard book as well. Well, I like both
Well,
for that
I'm
reason.
glad you said that because that's part of the process. When you read and you run into something you don't know, and then you look it up, that gives you a
Mm-hmm.
vote of confidence. That gives you a knowledge. You know, knowledge is only power when you put it into play. That's what makes you an intellectual. Not just having the knowledge. You don't
Yeah,
have to be a knowledge bank. You have to be able to learn how to utilize that and put it in play. That's the deal right there.
applied knowledge.
Absolutely. My mother used to say that. Hey, knowledge is power. And I told my mom, I'm sorry, but you're wrong. Knowledge is not power. What's power is putting it in practice, utilizing that knowledge. That's the power.
Right. All right, I'm gonna let you talk, Cole, and I'm about to head off. I'm gonna start up again tomorrow.
Welcome in, Cole.
Essence.
Hey, do you have an audio to this book?
I don't have an audio yet, but in about 2 days, I should have it.
Okay.
Because I know the audio book is a good thing. It's a good listen to, as
Lord,
well.
Tony been on tip all day.
You recording yourself?
I'm sorry?
Are you the narrator on the book?
I don't know if I'm going to be the narrator for the audio book, although I have a lot of it on YouTube right now. I'm still undecided because I like the way they pronounce the words correctly, depending on how you write it. So I'm still undecided, but I have to make that decision fast. So, I'll have the audio book available in 2 days. Hopefully, let's see what happens. But the ebook just came out. I did a soft release just to give the people that I know a chance to get this book because I'm not going to offer it in that size anymore. I'm going to offer it in a smaller book. So I'm going to let the people that are close to me get the big book. That way in the future, they could be like, yo, bro, I got the big book. I was one of the first people. You feel me? That means a lot to me.
Collector's item.
Big book.
It is a big book. It's in the form of a textbook because I'd like to have this book in school someday. Because these
Yeah,
kids need to know. You know what I'm saying? They've been indoctrinized, cultural beliefs, hamster wheels, generational curses. Enough is enough, man.
yeah, that's why I said I want the big one.
The big one. The
I want
big
the
one is
big
available
book.
to you, the big one.
As she said. But
Hey,
yeah.
you on Facebook, correct?
Yes, if you look up Live Above the Norm on Facebook, you'll see my page that I just started yesterday.
You on Twitter?
Yeah, I seen that.
I'm on everything. I'm on every
So
I
single
just made a
platform.
Twitter. I wish I would
Yeah.
have made it a while ago, but just made one. I like,
I did Google the book, and that's what pops up. It pops up everything. So that's
Thank
why I
you.
asked.
On
Yeah.
everything on Twitter,
If
What's your
Kevin.
book, though?
if you go
ah,
Huh?
down the line, you'll see a lot about, what's going on and where I come from. I was born and raised in the Bronx, so I do know what it is to be poor and share a pork chop. You know what I'm saying? If we ever had a pork chop. You know what I'm saying? So I know about free cheese and food stamps and WIC and all that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like I
Yeah,
grew up in that. So a lot of people look at me and they go, "Oh, you don't know." I'm like, "Yes, I freaking do." You know what I'm saying?
you know.
Any
So
mentors? Any mentors in the book that we know?
I had a lot of good books that I read, and you guys actually said a lot of good books that I read. I'm an actual life coach and a business coach, and I do get coaching, and I do coach a lot of people. But the books that I read was The Alchemist, The 48 Laws of Power, The
Yeah,
Power of Now. I read Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. Um, it's a nice array of books. The seven habits of highly successful people,
Favorite
and
book.
a lot of the books that you guys have said. These books are all great. The more books you read, the more perspectives you have, because not everything works for everybody. So I applaud you guys for
right.
reading books.
Think and Grow
Yeah,
Rich is good. I bought that for my daughter.
I think
yeah.
to read
Yeah.
that book.
I had to buy
Oh,
her the one that has the slide. It's
Important.
like a little slide cover that goes to it because I wanted her to be able to keep up with, kids would just
I
do
am
whatever.
so proud of you, man. It is so important to make these kids understand the power of reading and understanding and getting lost and engulfing a book.
Yeah, man, it's nothing like it. I go and tell you, it's nothing like getting lost in a book. You know what I mean? Because I sit here and now, and I got to go to work the next morning. I sit up to 3 o'clock in the morning just reading.
Yep.
You know, that's how lost I got in that book. You know what I mean? So I do understand it. That's why right now to this day, you know, I love reading books. I mean, when I was younger, I didn't care too much about reading, but now that I'm older, you know what I mean? Even in my 30s, I love to read. You know what I mean? So,
And buying two
I,
copies and reading as a parent, and then having your child read it, and then you discuss it depending on where you are in the book.
yeah,
That
Hey,
yeah,
makes
bro.
them, more wanting to engage more. You know.
I
yeah,
love it. I love it. That shows so you see that's such a great sign that there's a good future. There's a possibility of the future being bright if people like you and the other gentlemen keep pushing that issue because we put so much energy into enabling bullshit. And what we don't do is gift roses and throw flowers in the areas that is necessary. You know what I'm saying? So people don't be embarrassed to be good people. You know, somebody in the audience asks about the 48 laws of power, why people shouldn't read that. The 48 laws of power is not for everybody. It is a very powerful book, hard to
it
read,
is.
and not everybody deserves that much power from that book because
Exactly. Exactly.
they'll do bad with it. That's why they don't allow
Mm-hmm.
that book in the prisons.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Exactly. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
That's why when I only tell people about it that I feel like that can benefit from it, can
Mm-hmm.
understand.
It
Everybody is
takes a
not
lot
meant
to
to
read
read
that
that book.
book. It takes
It does.
everything in your power to. You have to literally stop almost every other sentence to look up a word in that book. So if you don't have the
Exactly.
patience, it'll take you a long
I'm
time to
trying to
read
put it
that
in
book.
perspective. I think
I
Mm-hmm.
do.
I think you should read the book because it gives you the information so you don't get be played. That's how I see it because it's a self defense mechanism book, in my
Yeah.
opinion. Some people
It
use it for
is. It is.
outward manipulation, but I think if you use it to protect yourself, that's why I think
Yeah.
everybody should read it so they can use it to know when somebody running game because it's a protection.
Awareness,
Exactly.
awareness is key with that book. But the thing is that some people are not ready to have that much leverage because naturally they use it in a negative connotation in their context. Like in other words, if you haven't healed yet, you might be resentful. You might use that book against the person. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I get it,
Exactly.
but in
Exactly.
my opinion, I'm protected, so I'm definitely gonna read that book because I gotta be protected. I need to know what's going on so I can
Hey
see
yo.
what plays.
That's why I say, you know what I mean? That's why me and Kev say, I mean, I just said it earlier. When you hear somebody, and when I read that book, when I hear somebody speak, I know when they're full of shit.
Yeah, you need to know.
Mm-hmm.
When someone speak, I know when they're not healed. It's
Mm-hmm.
words that people say that can be like, you be like, oh man, you know what? No, I know where this conversation is going. Let me get out of this conversation because it ain't meant for me. Because you can vet, and then it's about knowing. You have to know yourself. You have to, and like I can't say your name, like my man said. You got to be on that journey of healing. You have to be
Where
because
service come from?
Are you are
oh
you are
I'm
you are
literally about
you
to shut down.
BK
My
BK? Are
bad.
you say BK? Are you saying
What's the
that you
deal, man? What
have
you been
a?
up to?
Oh,
Hey, you know me. I've been down and around like a penny on the ground, man. What y'all got going, man?
Mm.
Nothing.
oh,
Literally about to shut down because I'm way past my time. I
hey,
still.
hey,
Ah,
Kev,
okay.
hey,
okay.
You
Kev,
get
hey,
it.
Kev, before you shut down, let me ask BK something real quick. Hey, BK, are you saying that you have a full of shit detector?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That
Yes,
part.
Hey,
sir. I have a
yeah,
full of
yeah.
shit detector.
Most real ninjas got a full of shit detector for sure. I can tell
And
you.
that,
I ask you one question. It don't even
yeah,
matter what you say to that question. I'm looking at what your face look like. It's like an unsaid type of connection
e-
that real ninjas have. They're
exactly,
like, we gonna detect the
exactly.
bush. Nah, I heard what you
Yeah,
said, but I
yeah,
also saw what you said, and everything
yeah,
else is
Mm-hmm.
uncontrollable.
exactly.
You can't control that. And some
That's
people
it.
have that innate ability. They also call it what they call it, the studying of how do you know people lying and telling the truth?
Hmm.
Like it's a whole science behind all of that. And there are some people who have had such experiences, and usually it's within the men around our age, your
Hmm.
experiences let you know these cues, these social cues, these facial cues, where you may not be able to call it or articulate it to somebody, but let somebody talk to you, you probably 99% right.
The signs
Oh
are
yeah,
there. The signs are
yeah,
definitely there.
it's
If
fine.
if you're
Yeah.
aware, the signs are there
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
and,
I got the bullshit Lysol. I got the Lysol for bullshit. It's
and this,
99.9% effective against the bullshit.
yeah,
They say when
and that's
people are
why.
unhealed based on how they move in this world, if people are racing against time, they are completely not healing.
That's something that women do though. The whole healing stuff. Men don't got time to heal. We don't have time to heal.
Men
What we
heal.
do? What?
Men go
No,
through trauma. Men
no.
heal.
I'm trying to tell you, it's a different word. I think a lot of times, as far as like saying, trying to be in within social normalities and what's going on socially and culturally, I think we try to be correct in that way. But what it is in reality for men, we don't take time to heal. We don't have time to do that. You know what I'm
I'm
saying?
just
Mm,
No,
different.
no, 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 no,
mm,
no. Like that's why
Different
it's not.
because
Men don't see. You got to understand one thing about men and women. Men and women are so different, and we can't. Like you, it makes sense to you. It can't make sense to me because think about this. For example, do you know that women speak 4 times as many words in a day as a man does? Y'all have to articulate
That's
things.
why
Y'all have to
communication be keeps on us.
exactly. You know what I'm saying? So
mhm.
like, look, y'all have to communicate things. And when you talk about quote unquote healing, it involves doing action. For men, what healing is solving problems. That's how we heal. It
But
don't have nothing to do with taking a break from anything
either way,
or
either way
or,
you
or,
look
or
at it,
focusing our energy elsewhere from where it needs to be. The way we heal and the way we thrive and what we do is by solving problems, seeing a
right,
problem and being able to solve it. That's
right.
it.
But either way you look at it, both men and women, whether the word, whatever word you want to use for it, men and women both need to heal.
Well,
Right. And
It's
what
I
he
hear
still
what
you.
the
he's saying,
same
what he's
thing.
saying is
I can
different.
get.
What
I mean, I get it. I see. I mean, I get you trying to change it, but both of it is healing though. It's just we heal different ways. That's all you
Right,
probably the whole thing
right.
you get into though.
right. We
for
It's
the
just
heal
that
for
word, I
different
guess.
and we
for the
recover
most
from
part.
dating different.
Yeah,
Listen, there's men and
And
women that have diarrhea of the mouth. You understand what I'm
facts,
saying?
facts.
Mhm.
But you don't trust men that talk too much though.
You're right. I don't trust women that talk too much either, though.
Well, but that's what they do though. They got a threshold that's higher than a man.
Well, I mean, that's
You
the
you
reason
you
why we
you.
have talk shows like The Talk. I mean,
No, he's
and
right though
Oprah.
because he's right because I asked a question to somebody and that shit turned into like a chapter. I was like, holy shit.
yeah,
All I asked you was what your favorite color was.
Dang. Well, my favorite
Bro,
you're
color was
right
when
about
my
that.
ex had did me wrong and all that.
My
What?
favorite color is pink, and we wear pink on Wednesdays.
I'll be
That's
diverse.
right. And
I'll
and
be
when-
diverse.
and if it's not pink on Wednesdays, it's light pinks on Fridays. But let me tell you the history of the pink. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Future.
Go all the way, yo.
Oh Lord,
God
you
damn.
ain't never lied about that one. You
Nothing but
never lied.
love.
But look,
Nothing but love, man. Nothing but love.
that's it, man. But
So
look,
I would love
hey,
to
look,
shut down.
yeah, I'm about to go because I got to go take my son somewhere real quick. But Jane, don't forget that book. And I definitely, I can't, I'm not gonna mess your name up. I'm not gonna mess your name up.
Just take the H out. Hormiga. That's
Or Miga.
yeah, that's ant
Hormiga.
in Spanish. Hormiga. Hormiga.
Hormiga.
Hormiga.
Okay.
Hormiga.
Hormiga.
And to keep
I
y'all
got
Hey,
your
heads
yo
up
book.
hablo
tomorrow,
español
I'm talking
también,
about
tú
this
sabes.
intuition
Recuerda.
and judgment.
That's good for me. Sound good to me. Hey, I got your book. I just ordered it off of
Wow.
Yeah, I did it too.
Amazon. Hey, I had to get it. I definitely gonna put it into my repertoire of books
What,
that I
Antoine?
read. Hey,
Love to
Claude,
hear the
DJ, you
feedback.
know what? It's always love, my brother.
No
I love
problem.
the fact that you got your business mindset. I'm gonna send this with some roses to everybody on this panel. I want to say that I appreciate y'all. I learn a lot from y'all. I get a lot of information from y'all. A lot of times, if I don't interact, that means I'm listening to understand, not
Facts.
listening to respond.
Facts.
I appreciate all y'all care. You already know, my brother. I
Listen,
love your topics. I love the fact that your mind is where it's set, my brother. You know what I mean? You're gonna find your wife. I believe it. And she's right around the corner, my brother.
oh yeah,
Whenever you're
man.
not looking, whenever you're
A
preparing
man who
yourself,
findeth the
because
wife
you're preparing
findeth a
yourself
great
for
thing.
I
You know what
said
I'm
I
saying?
exactly.
mentioned that earlier, and
So
I appreciate you, man. I appreciate all y'all, man. We need to keep it like
yeah,
this. I'm not trying to do all this toxic stuff, man. I'll keep the small
yeah.
rooms if I
I'm
got to do
tired of
that,
it.
but it's helping me out too. If I don't know if it's
Definitely.
helping y'all out, but it's for sure helping me out too. Because I mean, I love it, man.
Man,
Don't say small rooms,
I do
Kev. Say
too.
quality
But
rooms. Quality
Quality.
over
Yeah,
Yeah.
you right.
quantity.
You right. See, you see how I
Yeah.
like these rooms. You see how I like, guys.
Words matter,
So
man.
I,
when I
to
I,
give
hop in,
y'all a
when I
heads
hop
up
in room,
tomorrow, what I'm gonna talk about, the topic tomorrow is gonna be how are y'all how are you able to make good judgment of others, but others aren't able to make good judgment of you? Just to
mm,
keep that in y'all mind.
mm.
I love that topic, judgment.
Yes, it.
That's chapter 5 in my book, Judgment.
Ooh.
Ooh.
okay,
Yeah.
Ormiga, hey, if you can send me the link, just DM me. I'm gonna follow you now, so you could DM me. I think I'm already following you. Matter of fact,
It's possible.
but
We've
just
had a
DM
couple
me
of
the book.
discussions before, sir. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
we have, and I really like your spirit, man. I
Oh,
like what you
y'all
do.
did, right? Y'all
Uh,
did. I remember that.
yeah, you remember?
You know what I'm
I
saying?
started off beefing at
Oh, you're
first.
right. I
Yeah,
got it on
yeah,
my. I
yeah,
got it.
yeah, yeah.
I got it
He
on my
said
YouTube.
he
Though you
said
came at him heavy too.
he said hold on, he said, and I quote, "Sir, with all due respect, you're full of shit."
That's right. Basically said you sound stupid. He said, you know what? I checked that all back. Yeah, that was some funny stuff. I remember. Then
You
late
see
that
the
night,
irony.
all of us singing.
But you see the
and,
irony. I didn't take it
and
personal because I knew where he was coming
yeah,
from. I didn't take it personal. You know
because
what I'm saying?
as men, we gotta like. So when I say something, I stand on it, and I'm willing to be wrong. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? And then ask for forgiveness afterwards. And
Mm-hmm.
I think that's just a part of being 100% standing up on who you are, and then true to show that you are the man you say you are. Because we end up having dialogue, and I end up apologizing for saying that, and then we end up getting on common ground.
Mm-hmm.
And I accepted the apology so that we could move forward.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? To let you
exactly.
know that what you did was safe. I'm not going to hold it against you, but I
Yeah,
respect your feelings. You feel me?
yeah. It's
Mm-hmm.
bigger than me and you. You know what I'm saying?
What's the difference between me? Oh, yeah, you're right.
Why can't we have a community like this right here?
We
Bro.
can't on Kev Lab. Remember, I got told to shut the fuck up, and I needed to shut the fuck up,
You
Hey,
said that
hey,
was actually
hey,
that live I had left when that you was in?
No,
Oh
up here.
man.
Oh.
Remember, I want you to shut the fuck up, and I was quiet.
Oh, my. Oh.
It happened. It is what it is. But thank you
Hey.
so much, Kev. Thank all
Yep.
of you
yeah,
guys
man,
for
brother.
being up here. Thank you,
Appreciate
Kev, for invite. Well, you didn't invite me, but I invite myself to the party.
Oh, yeah, I'm
Kev,
gonna invite
thank
you
you
for
for
sure,
having
man.
me.
I didn't want to feel like I was bothered. I did invite a few people though, but I
it. Yeah,
don't.
You give great
we
lives every
appreciate you,
single
man.
time, and it's much appreciated. BK, I'm seeing that information. Or Amiga,
Please
I'm
do.
going to purchase. DJ, thank you. And Sir Broderick, thank you so much. I want y'all to have peace and blessings.
For sure, man.
All right, man.
Appreciate it. Appreciate
Same
it.
to you.
Oh, I ain't did nothing
Y'all
yet.
be safe, man.
I ain't
Y'all be
did
safe and
nothing
y'all be
yet.
blessed.
I got it on my screen right now. I'm gonna see what's up.
If I already got them.
Yes,
You about to
sir.
hop off, Kevin? Kevin, you about to hop off?
Yeah, I'm about to hop off for sure, for sure. Why is it daylight? Oh,
I'm
where
just
you
getting
at?
started. I still got a lot.
Right, look about to say, yo,
I'm in
daylight just
Hawaii.
hitting. I'm over there, got the moon all in my face and stuff. Like, go to bed. So, you said what you in Cali?
No, it's time to get
What?
Hawaii.
Oh, Hawaii. Oh, okay. Dang.
Yeah, Hawaii. Yeah.
Oh my.
Yeah, it's cool out here, man. Come visit.
All right,
I'll put
I
you on
think
for
my
something. I
man's he
bet you
live
get.
out there too. What's his name? Tilly. I think if he's still in here. No, he left. But Tilly,
No,
he
I don't
live
see
out
him.
there in Hawaii too. I was like, daylight. What is going on?
Yeah, I got you. I see it. I see it right here.
Yeah, it's on. I was about to say, yeah, it's on. I just ordered off of uh Amazon. Yep, got that boy
I'm
coming
thinking
in
about writing
Saturday.
a book. I'm working on writing a book right now. It's called The Weight of a Thought,
hmm The way of a thought.
and
Sorry, no, talking.
The Weight of a Thought.
I know I'm talking junk.
How far are you into it? How far are you into it?
I got like 10 chapters done.
hmm
Let me know, man. I will reciprocate the love. You understand what I'm saying? That's how I roll. You understand? So anything you need in
Yeah, for
self
sure.
publishing or publishing, let me know. You feel me?
Oh yeah, no, I mean, I appreciate that for sure. I would definitely reach out to you for sure on
Yeah.
that. It's my first time. I always love to write. I just never really put something together as thorough as this has been. It's taken a lot of research. It's taken a lot of time and effort. Really articulating what I came to understand. And yeah, it goes from there.
That's awesome, man. Let me know when you guys get into the book. If you have any questions, we'll do a one-on-one. We'll even have a book discussion on your live, Kevin. I'm sure you're gonna have a lot of questions.
Oh yeah, for sure. Right. You already know. All right, y'all, man.
Oh
Tomorrow, you
yeah.
already got the topic tomorrow
All
if
right.
y'all step in. So I got y'all brains
What
all
time you gonna
warmed up.
start?
I usually get on my time. It'd be
What time you
like
gonna start?
6:36, 6:30 between that time.
Okay.
I
So
don't know
it'll
what
be
time
like
it is
what?
at you. You
What
probably
what
you
time
gonna be
zone
sleep.
you in? You in Central Standard?
I'm in what's
It's
the
4:30 right now.
Eastern, I think. Is it what's Eastern? Yeah,
Eastern. Okay.
'cause
So
yeah,
like
it's
11 o'clock.
10:27 where I'm
Okay.
at.
I'll try to hop
Yeah.
on with you.
All right, for sure, man. For sure, man.
Yeah.
I appreciate you, my
It's
brother
4:27 on my
Hormiga,
time.
sir. You know what I'm saying, man? Let's
Thank
get
you,
it.
man.
All right, man.
Oh yeah, no
Appreciate you
problem.
guys, man. Have
Yes,
a
sir.
good night,
Appreciate
All right,
you.
guys.
y'all.
Yep.
No doubt.